We're going. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you here today to the land of Hungary for the 12th round of the XRL X3 Formula 1 2020 Races Series. I'm your broadcasting host, St. Lear 13, and like last week at Silverstone, I'm joined in the broadcast booth here today with XRL Ozda. Ozda, we're looking at a very interesting race today, I imagine. This is a circuit known for being very technical, not a lot of overtaking. What can we be looking forward to today in this event?
We could be seeing maybe some rain here today, as rain is pretty common here today. We also got to look out for maybe 3 and 5, turn 5, as if you do touch that curb, you will go around. And very hard corners get right. We could see maybe a safety car or two, but hopefully we don't see that here today.
Alright, I was watching yesterday during the Development League race where you and several of the other drivers in this very race all participated. What's the biggest thing that you think you can take away from a full-length race yesterday going into today?
I think that, setup is key here. I was having setup issues, but I did get it fixed before the race, and if you don't have the right setup, then you're going to have to really struggle with tyre wear and stuff like that. Tyre management is very crucial here today, and hopefully we see some nice juicy overtakes on the home pitch straight, and hopefully some close racing here today.
Alright, I'm going real quickly and doing the normal promotion that I do for a league real quickly, trying to get some more people in, because I do think that even if this is going to be a bit more of a safe race where qualifying may lock in a good estimate of where your final position is going to be, I do think we'll see a very interesting race in terms of strategy and in terms of technicality. This is a very technical circuit. There's really only about 2 outright overtaking spots, 3 if you want to be really aggressive. From what I saw from watching past F1 races here and watching yesterday's Development League race, it seemed like the big ones were the end of the first straight, turn 1, and then you had another one going into turn 2. That kind of can happen if you have a good DRS assist and you're within 1/5 of a second, and then maybe the chicane on the back half of the circuit, but even then that's going to be kind of pushing it. But first, as always, we're going to check out multiplayer. For those of you who are watching who have not joined and watched us before, qualifying in Formula 1 is done in 3 segments. You have 28 cars in a segment. The first segment runs for about 18 minutes with all 20 cars on track. The 15 fastest cars will advance into qualifying sector 2. In qualifying section 2, you will have about 15 minutes for the 15 fastest cars. And this is the section where drivers end up deciding what tire compound they will start the race on. Whatever tire that they end up finishing their qualifying run on, that is the tire that they will start on. Also, the top 10 drivers in qualifying 2 will move on to qualifying 3. Qualifying 3 is full on, balls to the wall, fastest lap counts for everything. That's where we see a lot of the real money and names being made. But still, qualifying always one of the most enjoyable things in an XRL race weekend. Even if the race ends up being a little bit on the dull side, which doesn't happen very often, but even when it does happen, qualifying almost always has something to impress and entertain.
Alright, so here we go here. Q1 is now underway. It looks to be a little bit overcast, so we could maybe see some rain going into Q3. But we'll hopefully get a dry weather report soon from one of the drivers here.
full field of 20 cars will be running today.
Yeah, so we have a full grid today. We saw the Ferraris, they had a good pace last week at Silverstone, so we could see that again today, but as we all know, Hungary is a very technical circuit, and especially with controller players as well, it is kind of hard to get it really, really right and at the sweet spot. So first car.
Here's XRL Stumpy, who's on his outlap, as is his teammate Carlos Jackson.
Yeah, so it looks like the mechanic's going to set the fastest lap of the race here. No, the first lap of the race here today. Oh wow! So we actually see Carlos Jackson use turn 5 curb. Well, we don't see many drivers do that, as if you do use it, you usually spin out on it. So that's interesting to see who takes that curb and who doesn't. So we could see a lot of yellow flags in Sector 2 here today.
Carlos Jackson will be the first person to come across the line. The next one behind him, who is entering the last little sector in turn 3 in the 3rd sector right now, is, as I'm flipping through everyone and I can't seem to get to them, it looks like it's one of the Red Bulls. I don't know if that's Whippy or Patriot. That's Whippy. Now Whippy's coming along. He's already invalidated his first lap. It's okay, that doesn't matter, because the first lap is just your ready lap. It doesn't actually count for anything. This here, right now, is your actual full-on banker lap, the very first one. Not necessarily the most important one, but it gives you a good idea as to what you can be looking forward to going forward. And meanwhile, a little bit farther back, it looks like XRL Stumpy has pulled over and is going to let several of the other drivers go. He wants some clean track and wants to give the same respect to the other drivers here.
Yeah, so we see here Carlos Jackson also getting a purple Sector 1, as he is the only person to be on the hot lap right now if he doesn't validate. But obviously with the overcast as well, the track is going to be a little bit cold, so we have to watch out here for maybe race slipping out or having some understeer in the first qualifying session. So now coming to Sector 3 now, this is probably one of the easiest sectors of the track. And coming in the last final corners now, Carlos Jackson is going to set his lap. In Dev yesterday, should I say, we did see the 113, but that is very, very, very quick. As we see any 113s here today. We get a 117.205 from Carlos Jackson here today. Whippy doesn't go quicker with a 117.36. And we could maybe see the Retro Rixie for 115.7. We could maybe see the 14s, but I highly doubt we'll see the 13s here today.
It's going to be very interesting to see either way. The other week at Silverstone, actually last week at Silverstone, X3's times were actually comparable, in some cases a little faster than what they saw in X1. So you never know what these drivers may have in mind. But yeah, I'm continue to agree with you after watching the race yesterday, qualifying yesterday for the Development League. I have to agree, I don't think we're going to get out of 114. I think 114, about 114.5 would be like the ultimate benchmark we could imagine.
Yeah, I think maybe could see Retro Rixie or Cargo get into the 114s, as they were quick last week, and they do now obviously are on the top spots now, but obviously not everyone has set a lap yet. But yeah, we have a few new people in here, or reserve should I say. Clutch Revenge, he is a reserve. I think Tino Farah is as well, if I'm correct. And I think that's it. I think everyone else is full-time drivers.
And Tino Farah, right now he has the slowest time of everyone. He had a little bit of a loop going through the first little bit of Sector 2, looped the car around, was able to get it back underway, didn't end up hitting anything, didn't end up gaining anyone's way, but definitely a little bit of an issue as we drive by here. Going through the very last sector right now, trying to see if he can improve on his time.
It looks like Smash is going to come to the end of his top lap. Let's see what he can do. I know he does have a bit of struggles with turn 5 here. on this track. What is he going to do as he crosses the line here? He goes 9th with 1:16.7. I think he'll be quite happy with that time and won't need
Something
to go
has
out
gone
again.
wrong with XRL Turbo. The entire front wing of the car has been ripped off. He's gotten either into someone else or it's went off circuit and into the wall. Not good for him. He has the slowest time of everyone on the timesheets right now. And speaking of slowest times on the timesheets, the second slowest driver right now is Carlos Jackson, who was the first person to go out. So very quickly, the pace of the qualifying session is picking up at a rapid pace.
Yeah, we also got track development as well. As obviously the track gets rubbered in, it gets more hot and it also becomes more optimal. Obviously, actually going further 1:15.1, that is very close to the 14s, but not near enough. But it is only Q1. We could see the drivers in Q3 bring out the massive big balls pace to see who will get that top spot in Q3 today, but we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. And it looks like Renault is off. I think that is Tino Farah. He's in the wall and he's going to reverse back on track. Oh, that was that could have been very nasty there. Yeah, the Haas has gone around because of that. Stumpy, he's gone into the Haas and he's retired. Stumpy has retired for the second session. Second qualifying in a row.
Not able to get a good view on it, sadly, but we saw Stumpy just barely avoid Tino Farah, and then not even a full corner later, he went around. I have to wonder if maybe he took evasive maneuvers trying to avoid Tino Farah, turned and wrecked himself. So it's going to be a very difficult day for the McLaren vehicles today. One of their drivers already knocked out qualifying, and we're not even to the final half of it.
No, we're not. Obviously, we just need some DNF is caught in Silverstone as well. But let's hope maybe he can claw it back in the race. I'm not too sure if he will. But there's always that hope there. And as we see, the other McLaren go out for another hot lap to see if he can improve in his time. And this grid already, I'm only 5 minutes into the session, well not 8 minutes into the session, should I say, sorry, is very tightly woven here. So any little improvement that these guys can make, it'll maybe bump them up a place or two.
XRL Patriot and the other Red Bulls trying desperately to set another clean lap, but he's invalidated what looks to be his second lap here. Not going very well for this Red Bull driver. Right now, Whippy seems to be in a much better position. 1:16.780 for his teammate, as Patriot's going to pull into the pits after invalidating 2 laps in a row.
Carlos Jackson, he's going to round at turn 5. Oh, I mean, the Haas going to round. That's Huber. No, that's not Huber. That's Retro Rixie. No, Boothie, I think it is. Yes, Boothie. He's going to round.
Boothie is finally back. Both of those drivers are back underway, so we've seen 2 instances about this point of the track. What's so difficult about the entirety of Sector 2 coming from a driver's perspective?
Well, obviously, the start of Turn 2, you've got Turn 5, and that white curb, you'll have to watch out for that in the race, because I don't know why it is. I think it's because it's a raised curb. It unsettles the balance of the car, and it makes you go around if you can't save it in time. But also, like, the kind of like the middle bit of Sector 2, that is S's, so drivers with maybe no traction or less grip on the tyres will find it hard, and also the chicane as well, because the chicane is raised. If you maybe hit that a little bit too wrong, or maybe go a little bit wide and hit it, then it will bump it up in the air, and that will obviously make you lose balance and spin off as well. So, you know, the whole entirety of Sector 2 is pretty hard to get right, but if you can nail it, it is really rewarding as a driver.
Well, hopefully these guys can catch those rewards. We were riding on board with XRL Turbo as he went through Sector 2, as Ozzo was nice enough here to share his experience and understanding of it. Here we are. Patriot's now back on his way out. Constant Jet is also out there in the Williams. He is exiting Sector 2 now, and he looks like he'll be the 17th driver to set a lap time. He already has a purple Sector 2 here. Hopefully he keeps it clean here in the last 2 corners, and is able to put down a clean time, a competitive clean time at that.
Yeah, I also don't really want to jinx Patriot as he was. Oh, I think that's Renault off. Yeah, XL Hib just letting people pass, that's fine. But last week no, not last week. Yesterday, sorry, Dev. He was 1.2 seconds up, and the comment went on him, and he binned it. So I guess that's kind of real commentator's curse. But yeah, hopefully he can set a competitive time here. He was looking good in Dev, and so hopefully that can transfer to X3, and hopefully the nerves don't really get to him.
Find Waldo and XRL Patriot are about to come by the start-finish line each, and they will begin their next set of laps. Meanwhile, at the top of the timesheets, though, Atui, 1:15.196. He's currently in the pits right now, and his teammate XRL Cargo is on an outlap, trying to see if he can close the gap. One thing's for certain, the Alfa Romeos have been one of the strongest manufacturers in XRL X3, and pretty much across the entirety of XRL this entire year.
Yeah, Cargo obviously had an amazing race last week. Missed out on the win as a Retro Richie grabbed it, I think that's right. So I think Cargo's really wanting to redeem himself this race. But also, he has massively improved since last season. I can tell you that very much. Cargo, he probably wouldn't even get into Q3 last season. It's like some other drivers, Retro Richie, he was good, but he wasn't as good as he was now. So it's good to see the drivers improve since I've been away, and hopefully we could get a Alfa Romeo 1-2 if it works out for both them drivers.
Fine Waldo's coming around the final corner right now in the other Tracing Point Pink Mercedes, as some people like to call it. Waldo brings it right up to third on the timesheets, 1:15.642, and here comes Patriot. He will be the last person to set a lap time who hasn't already wrecked out. Patriot, 1:17.280. We're seeing quite a spread in times right now, roughly about a 1.8 second spread from 1st to 19th. There's a lot of time that could still be picked up by the drivers at the back end of the timesheets right now.
Yeah, we also see Whippy trying to improve. I don't know why he wasn't, because he is in the top 15 and top 15 to get through to Q2. But he just want to be on that safe side as some other drivers like Smash, should I say. But we've also got Curtis Jackson, Pete, Herbie, Turbo, and obviously Stumpy as his DNF in the relegation zone right now. Herbie's going to want to get out there, and so will Patriot and Turbo as well. So hopefully we can see those drivers improve. But I think some people are struggling more on the track than others.
Turbo's going to have a really, really difficult time making it happen. He just invalidated his lap, so he's also low on fuel. He'll have to jump in real quickly, throw new tires, more gas in the car, and get out there as soon as possible. He's not going to have a lot of time to improve. And he needs to make quite an improvement also, roughly improvement of a full second. The gap between 19th and 15th is about a full second. So he's really going to have to work hard, as opposed his teammate XRL Smash seems to finally start having a little bit of things going his way. He is currently 13th on the timesheets, as he has a 1:16.781. He's crossed the line again, but did not improve that time.
Yeah.
And yes, Turbo's coming to the pits.
Sorry about that, but Tina Farrell is a full-time. I got my things mixed up, so sorry about that, guys. But yeah, it's good to see a reserve in the top 10. Hopefully you can convert that in the race. But, you know, from a driver's perspective, it's not all about qualifying. Obviously qualifying really helps. But you know, it's where all the race that helps everything, and it also gets you those points. But you know, qualifying, it could be, oh, it's the same person every single time on qualifying, but then in the race it could be, oh, he spins out or something like that, you know. And especially at Hungary, where it's a really technical circuit, and you've got a lot of places where you can lose it. So it'll be interesting to see what the race brings.
Constant Jet and Herbie have both completed their outlaps. No, you do make very good points with that there. I personally am very interested to see what the strategy is going to be going into today's race, because it's such a difficult technical circuit. I think it's going to be more of a heady track than one where you just can outdrive the track with your car, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it may be a medium hard, but with my personal setup, oh, is he with the return?
Whippy!
Yeah, he's retired in the
Yeah,
pits.
Whippy is retired from the pits. Okay, I was a little bit afraid
Yeah,
there that he may have wrecked out.
I was like, whoa! Yeah, but yeah. Personally, on my setup, and also my driving style as well, because everybody's different driving styles, no one is the same. Yeah, I can have similar driving styles, but no one is exactly the same. The hards for me felt really, really horrible, but for some other people, they might feel like absolute bliss, you know? So we could see maybe a medium to hard strategy, or even maybe like a medium or soft medium, medium, or something crazy like that. But I think most of the drivers will go out on the medium in Q2.
If we have a green flag race today, we will most definitely see somebody, I imagine, trying to take a two-stop strategy and just try to take advantage of having a lot of clean track. Massa, while we were talking there, Constant Jet improved on his time. He's got 1:16.808. Tino Farah has now been knocked out of the top, and what's worse, his current time is invalidated. So neither of the Renaults right now are in position to migrate into Q2. There is a little bit less than 90 seconds left in the section. Tino has a chance to get around and potentially make something happen. On the other hand, XRL Turbo really cutting it close. He's just crossed the line with about 120. If he doesn't make any mistakes, it looks like he'll have 2 laps to try and improve. But again, he needs to improve by at least a full second. Actually, the gap's improved. He needs to improve by 1.1 seconds. He's really got to make something happen and really has to make it happen fast here.
Yeah, I think one of the Ferraris is struggling. I know Turbo isn't really the quickest, but if he can focus, then he can really, really pull it out the bag. So I just hope Turbo can improve and get out of that relegation zone. But I thought maybe the Renault, or however you want to say it, will do better as Herbie goes into but no, Q2. Oh no, that's just my camera angle. Yeah, so I thought the 2 Renaults were gonna go and be in Q2. Obviously not. The 2 of them struggled quite a bit. Yeah, so hopefully we can see it pull it out the back in the race.
Constant Jet, XRL Smash, and Careless Jackson are all very confident that nothing's going to change. They all went ahead and retired. Herbie, Tino Farah, XRL Patriot, and Turbo are the drivers on the bubble. Tino Farah is actually in the pits, so he will not migrate on to the next round. So Herbie is out on the track, but his current lap is invalidated, so he will not be able to advance. Right now, it's between Patriot and Turbo. Patriot is here in the second half of the circuit, still in Sector 2 right now.
Yeah.
And then you have XRL Turbo, who's entered Sector 2.
Yeah, but you know, for especially controller plays that aren't smooth with the inputs, all the time is going to be lost in Sector 2, just because of the fact that it's S's. And Patriot, he's run out of fuel, I think. He's run out of fuel, yeah. So
I think he is, yeah. It's flashing really aggressively there. I think that even if he had time up, it's not going to help him. 121.350, loses 4 seconds at the end. And Turbo, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to make it. I think he's invalidated this lap as well.
Yeah, it's invalidated, but he's up 5 tenths. It wouldn't even improved it to get into Q2 anyway. So that's why he put it for the Ferrari driver. But the other Ferrari driver, XRL Smash, he's got through into Q2. And I know he's been complaining all week about this circuit. So I think he's going to be very happy with that. It's just the fact that can he make it into Q2? Q3 here today. As now we get underway to Q2.
Yeah. WCD Hubert has a 5-position grid penalty, apparently. Now, he did make it into the next section. He's 10th on the timesheets right now, but according to what I'm seeing here, he has a 5 grid penalty. So that's going to be very, very rough on him. Even if he gets pole, he's still not going to have the grid starting position. Constant Jet, XRL Smash, Karis Jackson, Books, Whippy, Hubert, Snake, Fritz, Fratters, Clutch Revenge, Retro, Boothie, Waldo, Cargo, and Atui all make it to the next round. And also, hands off to Fratters. He's definitely been making some improvements this season over the last few races. 7th on the timesheets for now.
Yeah, I used to race with Fridays last season, and let's say he wasn't the quickest. He used to get lapped quite a bit, but now he's getting in 7th and stuff like that. So it's good to see him make an improvement here, and hopefully he can make it into Q3. If not, he'll be looking good for the race as Q2 gets underway now. We'll probably see a lot of drivers go onto the medium tyre compound. If you do go into these softs, it will be a 2-stop strategy, no doubt about that. Yeah, we'll see who gets the first lap, and hopefully the track is a bit more warmer now, so the drivers can get the absolute maximum out of the qualifying. Yeah. Oh,
it looks like the first driver to be out is going to be the Williams.
It's
Clutch Revenge.
It's Rixie.
No, Clutch Revenge is out way ahead of them. Clutch is like already in the last half. Yeah, he got the jump on everyone else. He wants to get the cleanest track possible and get the best idea as to what's going to happen way before anyone else. Right off the bat, Carlos Jackson is apparently going to be starting on softs, as will Clutch Revenge here, so it's going to be very interesting. Typically, we see a lot of the drivers sticking with the harder tire compounds. However, you mentioned this earlier, overcast skies, looks like it might get even darker soon, so some of these drivers on the softs might be running a gambit on the track might get wet in the latter half of Q2. They put down a nice fast lap on the softs now. Yes, they might be locked into a 2-stop strategy, but they'll be even higher up on the grid than normal. So, a little bit gambling with the weather here. Don't worry, we're not in Las Vegas, we're not in Monaco, but bets get made all the time in racing.
Yeah, so Clutch Revenge is really wanting to get out there. Yeah, I just got a weather report. The race is dry, so usually you'd see people go out in softs if the race is raining, but it currently isn't, so we could see a few drivers here going on the 2-stop strategy, or they do the 1-stop, soft to hard, if they can make those softs last the length. But obviously with every tyre they do have a drop-off point, and that could really endanger the driver today, because if you get up to that drop-off point and you're not pitting, and it'll gradually get worse. And as you said before, the track is very technical, so we could see a few spins around the clock point here today. Oh, yellow flag, just people letting people by. So Clutch Revenge now coming into sector 3 here. What can he do? What time can he on the soft tyre compound here? Probably looking for a 116, I would believe. Or maybe a 115, I'm not too sure. Runs out of VRS though. What's he going to pose here? That ERS is going to affect him massively. A 116.1.
Oh, not the greatest time there, not by any means.
No, but yeah.
Audley has invalidated his current lap, so he's going to have to go another circuit. So the next driver actually put a time down. Even worse, Retro Wixie, 116.795. Carlos Jackson, 117.104. Smash 117.330. We're not seeing very fast times quite yet in the session.
Oh, I don't think very what's going on. He's I don't think wing damage. I can't really see from the TV pod camera angle. No, he hasn't got wing damage, but he has heated up those tyres quite massively, so he'll have to do a cool down lap. Yeah, we are seeing Find Waldo Retroactive Fruits. They are on mediums. So that tyre is about 5 seconds slower than the soft tyre compound.
Oh, Smash! And Carlos Jackson! Carlos Jackson has gone off circuit. Smash tried to avoid him, ended up knocking into the inside wall there in Sector 2. Now here comes one of the AlphaTauris. And I didn't see who that was, but he will get by without issues. So two of the drivers will already set times. Carlos Jackson and XRL Smash both get involved in an instant with each other. Smash has some significant front wing damage. I think Carlos Jackson is in a much better position front wing wise. And another one of the Haas's, and that's Boothie. Boothie has now gone around there in Sector 1. these last few races has been nothing but struggle for the Haas teams in qualifying. It seems like every single time they start to have a sort of positive momentum, their car setups just bite them in the butt. We've seen the Haas been running very low downforce, straight line speed focused builds, and it really, really harms them when it comes to putting the power down, coming out of corners. We're seeing them loop around. We saw it happen at Silverstone. We saw it happen at Montreal. We're seeing it happen here now as well. Clutch Revenge goes to the top, 116.158.
Yeah, so, yeah, obviously that faster, no, that softer combat is going to be faster, but actually, with a 116.4 on the medium tyre compound, that is a very good lap time here, and we do see most of the drivers now on the medium tyre compound. But if you guys need to remember that even if you do set a lap time on the soft, you cannot change to the mediums if sorry, let me get this straight. Right, if you do a lap on the softs and you do your quickest time ever, and then you go out on the mediums, you will not start in the mediums just because you have to beat that time on the mediums to start the race on the mediums. So
Retro XC now goes up to second on the time sheets, 116.326. Lap times here have significantly slowed because, like you said, everyone's running the medium tire compounds, a little bit less grip, a little bit more longevity. Whether that's a good move or not, that's up to you to decide. I personally would rather run a medium tire compound, or if I even thought about it, I would try to run a hard tire compound and see if I can stay out on the track as long as I possibly can. But
yeah, unfortunately the hard tire isn't available. It is in real life F1, but obviously not in F1 2020 game. I don't really know why. Obviously that would play with the strategy quite a bit. But yeah, you can't have the hard tyre compound. You can have the medium and the soft, but that's it. So I would like to maybe see Codemasters bring out the. And Tina Farah, he has left. Oh no, he's probably gone to get a drink or something. But yeah, I would like to see Codemasters bring in a hard tyre for qualifying, and that is Smash, I think. Yeah, he's just keep building a gap. He didn't want to be near anybody. That's fair enough.
this is going to be interesting. Clutch Revenge has caught WCD Hubert here in the very technical Sector 2. Now, Clutch Revenge is on an outlap, and he nearly turns it around. He backs it way off. Does not want to end up gaining to the back of Hubert there. That got a little bit nutty, but because Revenge was coming, and Hubert, I don't know if he was on a cooldown lap or what, but
no,
even on the outlap, Revenge was... Well, either way, Revenge was running down Hubert, and he had to back way off to not run into the back of that Haas machine there.
Yeah, so with the rules in XRL, you can't have a toe off someone that's not your teammate. But also, if they did make a collision, then that would be Clutch Revenge's fault because he's on the outlap, Hubert's on a hot lap. So yeah, as Clutch starts another hot lap, see if we can maybe improve on the time, but I don't really see the need to. But that's, I guess, what he wants to do. Obviously, Hubert is still out. We have Snake. He's come out now on the medium tire compound. He's going to come into the last two final corners here. Let's see what he can do. He was last season's constructors, but he was second in the drive as well. Missed out to Remixo, who is now in X2, I think. Oh no, I think he's left, my bad. And Snake Eagle's 9th with 117.091 on the medium tire compound. So right now, Whippy's gone off. I think he's letting someone by. Whippy, Fradders, Smash, Constant, and Books is out and not going through to Q2.
A thing of note that I've noticed, because as most of the people who have been watching with us for a little while know, after we went through Azerbaijani, and we had a very chaotic race there, about a quarter of the drivers in X3 ended up graduating to either X2 or X1 or ended up moving on in general. So we had a significant shakeup. Prior to that happening, there was a very plain domination by Mercedes and Alfa Romeo drivers in this series. that's pretty much fallen apart. The Alfa Romeos are a little bit stronger, but not nearly as dominant as they were. And Mercedes, on the other hand, has completely, not collapsed, but seemingly regressed. Books and Snake, they're currently 9th and 15th on the timesheets. Not bad by any means, but what we were seeing the Mercedes drivers put in earlier were constant 1, 2, 3, 4, always in the top 4s in every single session, regardless of circumstances. There's definitely been a reflection of that when it comes to the Manufacturers' Championships. The gap that Mercedes has had over Alfa Romeo in the Manufacturers' Championship over last week has dwindled and dwindled away rapidly, and it's not helped by the fact that the Mercedes drivers are very good, but they also race each other very aggressively. We saw the other day when we were at the Red Bull Ring, the two Mercedes drivers getting very, very aggressive with each other and costing each other a lot of time and some money in wing damage. So it's gotten very, very difficult to just see Mercedes bring home the results that they had earlier in the season after driver changes and other such stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of like real life F1, isn't it? Because obviously one of them is the secondary driver and also one of them is the first driver, and you don't really see it, but when real life Mercedes do get close to each other on track, they do battle it out. So it's kind of a bit of a resemblance there. But you know, I think they don't really. Obviously, teammates have to work with each other, but also teammates are rivals. So I think that's why they were going so hard at it. At Red Bull Ring. Obviously I wasn't there for that and I haven't really watched it, but yeah, Snake, he is a very what's the word, he likes to be the first driver and he also likes to be in charge, so yeah.
Right now, everyone who's 11th on down is not in a position to set their fastest lap. Right now, Carlos Jackson and XRL Smash will be the first ones to do so. Jackson has crossed the line. He has swapped back to the soft tire compounds, but the time he has right now, if memory serves correctly, are something that he already served on the soft, so it's going to be very interesting. Also, of note, and one of the Haas's have gone around. I think that's Boothie. Yes, that is Boothie. Boothie has gone around and wrecked the car there in Sector 2. It looks like there's some damage to the front wing of that machine. We'll see as he goes by. Yes, part of that front wing is damaged. He will have to pit and repair that. And he'll have to do that really fast as well because there's less than 3 minutes left on the clock here.
Yeah, I think two Haas's are fine. Well, everyone is finding this track difficult in one way or another. Some of them are finding it harder than others. Obviously, as we can tell with the amount of spins and yellow flags going on here. But obviously, you know, if you think qualifying's hard, then you think of the race because obviously you've got more fuel. I guess in the way it kind of helps because you've got more weight or mass to the car, so it will stay planted in some areas, but then you'll get a lot of understeer in some areas. So I think it's vital to practice tracks and do some just
and Fritz, something has happened. I can't tell if he's retired. I think he's retired outright from the session because it says that he's still on pit lane.
Yeah.
He's 6th on the timesheets.
Yeah.
11th is the border getting knocked out. So I wouldn't feel super comfortable with it, but with less than 2 minutes to go, I guess it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I think people who will be on edge is Snake. Whippy is obviously feeling that he's not going to go through. Snake, he's still on the mediums, he's trying to improve. He goes 9th, which is Boothie into 10th. And obviously we see Carlos Jackson here on the soft tire compound, so we could see Boothie not get through here. Constant Jet, he's feeling very, what's the word? Confident, sorry, I just had brain freeze there. Fradley's an outlap on the soft tire compound, so we can see an improvement from him. But he's still
Smash has improved, but I'm sorry.
No, go on, that's fine.
I was just remarking Smash is improving on his medium tire compounds. It's just he's not improving enough. The gap between 13th and 10th is still about another 0.3 of a second. Smash needs to find it. He needs to find it fast, either because this is his last lap. Time's going to be up before this lap is over for him.
Yeah, we also see Frederick T's on a... Oh, and he's invalidated.
He's invalidated!
He's
So Fratters, by default, will not migrate into the next section. Books has crossed the line. He has about 35 seconds left, so this is his last lap.
Beefy's
So
gone
Books,
around. Oh! AlphaTauri
Boothie
nearly
has
hit
gone
him off
around.
Has Fratters got wing damage?
I think he does. No, he does not. But I think that's going to ruin his lap anyway. His lap was already invalidated.
Yeah. But,
Boothie on the outside looking in is already on an outlap as well. He's not going to be able to make it happen either. Clutch Revenge has retired. Good job on Clutch Revenge. 1:15.711. The use of the softs have really paid off well for him. Here comes Smash. He's entering Sector 2 right now. It says there's a yellow flag there, but I hope they won't penalize him if he doesn't let up, because there's literally no one around. Books has invalidated his lap, so Books will not make it in. Again, that's what I'm talking about. The Mercedes, just a gradual slight regression has really harmed them and harmed their ability to progress.
Oh, and Caleb Jackson, he's going around to the final corners now. Is he? Oh no, he's in third. Sorry, I mean fifth. Sorry, so yeah, he will go through. Snake will go through, but Boothie, unless Books improves, but he's invalidated, so he will not improve. So Boothie, Whippy, Smash, Fradders, and Books are not going to migrate to Q3 here today at Hungary.
Cargo goes by a line as he wrapped up 8th on the timesheets. So that's it. That's going to close out our session. A little bit of frustration, especially on the Mercedes team. Only one of the Mercedes makes it in. It's not going to be looking very good for them because the one Mercedes that did make it in, slowest of the 10 that will migrate into Q3, but it's better than nothing. For Clutch Revenge and Careless Jackson and Constant Jet, they're going to be in a very interesting position. They have to start the race on the soft tire compounds. Everyone else in the top 10 will be starting on the mediums, and then correct me if I'm wrong, everyone from 11th to 15th will still have the ability to swap to a different starting tire compound if they so choose.
Yeah, they will. But the fact is that even if Clutch Revenge does have a massive gap in qualifying, it'll be really, really interesting to see if the strategy does pay off in the race. Obviously, if maybe he can get those softs fired up and pull a gap, then it may work. But it'll be an interesting strategy here today. Alrighty.
Also, hats off to the Alfa Romeo and Racing Point and Williams teams. Those seem to be the only 3 teams that got both of their drivers here into qualifying Sector 3. So, gonna get underway for Q3 here very shortly. Still dark clouds in the area, but we've not seen rain, and that's probably for the best because we're getting a very, very accurate idea as to who is coming out where in ability and speed. I also say this, I know that they said it should be a dry race, but I've seen twice before this season alone where they said it will be a dry race, and we still end up with rain in the last, like, 10 minutes. So I wouldn't be surprised. They say it's a dry race. I will never be surprised if it happens. If we have, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you were here for last season. It rained
I showed up at the
so
very end of last year.
Season.
Yeah.
In X3. Everyone thought they had a curse on them because it really looked you basically every race. But yeah, hopefully we can see some outstanding times here today. Oh no, Clutch Revenge, he is again the first person out on track. He is greedy. No, not greedy, sorry. What's the word?
I'd say ambitious.
Yeah, that's the word. Sorry, I had another brain freeze. And then it is Huber. Hopefully we don't see him again. He is obviously having really difficult issues in Sector 2 here. But, you know, I don't know if you've definitely heard of Azerbaijan. Because you're talking about it before. It's basically, Turn 5 is like Castle Section. So from a gyro perspective, if you don't think about Castle Section, you will more than likely nail it. As you see, a Williams go around, I think that's Constant Jet. Yeah, he's not bad. Oh no, he's been on the grass because he's got grass on his tyres. Yeah, it's like Castle Section. If you don't think about it, you will nail it. But if you overstress it, then you will really, really mess it up. So these drivers just need to really just not really think about Turn 5 and just really dial in and really be one with the car.
So I myself, I'm just going to go silent for a lap and ride on board with Careless Jackson for a lap here around Hungary, just so you guys at home get an idea what it's like driving here at full speed.
lap from Kill Jackson with a 1:16.28. Alright, so get track map up and all that. So actually he's done 1:15.2, that puts him in first right now. Cargo can probably improve on that lap time if he gets in the pits and puts on another set of softs if he has any. Fritz though, in second with 1:15.4, he's looking good. Huber, he's coming around, he's got a purple sector 2 going into sector 3 now. Can he string all the pieces together to make a picture of a pole position? Let's find out here as it comes to the final corner now. Got to get this corner really right. Power early on the exit. Going across the line now. No, he goes in 5th with 1:15.7. Constant Jet is on his outlap. Snake, he is coming around the final sector now. What is he going to do? Is he going to maybe go into the top 5 as we've seen before? The Constructors Champion, I guess you could call him, he's right up here. He goes to 6th with 1:16. What? Excuse me, 1. Your Constant Jet. The other side is top as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I tried to say like 3 different things. I was getting a little bit angry because I'm like, why are you cutting me off? Then I realized I didn't unmute my mic after the onboard with Careless Jackson. So of note, Retro Rixie had a little bit of spin while Constant Jackson was doing his lap. Retro had a spin coming out of the second to last corner, damaged the front wing. He had to come in and pit. Excuse me, that hurt him a little bit. And then WCD Hubert.
Oh, it's going around. He's took the curb on turn 5. He hasn't got any wing damage, but that will affect his tyre wear. Yeah.
Looks like Retro is now having trouble getting that setup working. Also, you were talking about WCD Hubert earlier in the season. I called him the Magic Man for qualifying because so many times he would struggle all through Q3, all through Q2, and then we'd get to Q1, and in the last few minutes, he'd pull out a grid position in the top 5 out of his hat. Didn't always transition to a very good race result, but still, he's made some magic work in qualifying before. He's setting himself up to do another one of those magic runs here today. I'm definitely going to be excited to see if he can make it happen.
Yeah, obviously Q3 is the grid-determined qualifying session. So it's obviously a lot of pressure on the drivers to perform very well. And obviously that stress can build up. And as Jetty does the 1:17.2, that is significantly slower than others. Let's hopefully he can come back out and improve. As Retro Rixie, he's coming round to sector 2 now. Hopefully he doesn't touch the curb again, and hopefully maybe we can see him going to maybe second or third, as he is quite. He's been very quick recently, don't you think?
Retro has had a lot of ability in the last about 3 or 4 races. He's pulled off 2 victories. One of them by pure pace and clever strategy alone. He has the ability to make it work, but he's already gone around twice. He needs to make sure those incidents do not get into his head.
Yeah, I think obviously with you spinning, it's basically like a Roman Grosjean type of thing, because obviously you have really highs and really lows. And obviously with a spin it can affect your confidence, it can affect your confidence in self and then yourself. So he's got to stop those spins as he comes to the final corner now. He's going to cross the line. What is he going to do here? Is he going to snatch pole?
To the top!
With a 1:15.188.
Now, Ottaway and Fritz both are on out laps, though, so they're going to try and run him back down. There is time, it could happen, but Retro, 2 spins and a potential win, and something has happened to Clutch Revenge and Careless Jackson. Wow, and one of the Alfa Romeos nearly get caught up in that as well. Careless Jackson stopped on the track, so Careless Jackson and what looked like Fritz both involved in situations, and even farther up the track, there's more things going on there. By the looks of it, Cargo has gone off the circuit. I think Clutch Revenge also went off. That was nuts. It doesn't look like anyone has any damage, but
no, Clutch does. He has no hardly any front wing left, and he's got Cargo right in his bum, so he needs to let him by really right now. He's not letting him through. That might be a penalty here. He has let him by now.
I think he was looking for a safe place to let him by, but yeah, significant front wing damage on Clutch's cars. He's currently 5th on the timesheets, struggling to make anything happen.
And he's going to let McLaren as well. Oh, finding Waldo, he's binned it. He's binned it in turn 4.
Not able to see where he is. We don't have any good cameras on him, sadly.
Oh, no, but he's coming towards him now. Let's see where he's binned it. Yeah.
Oh, he's right in the racing line. He avoids. Wow, does he avoid? Good job, Hubert, pulling out of that the last minute. You come out of that corner, turn 4, with a massive head of steam, and he had to flick the wheel just the barest amount to avoid it. Excellent job by Hubert, just keeping that car clean there.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, obviously, I think Waldo, he basically either put the power down too early or touched the inside curb, and that's how the car went around and made him DNF and put him in the middle of the track where Hubert's come. He should have really been a little bit more respectful on yellow flags, but he obviously didn't know why it was in the middle of a track. And we see clutch event. No, that is
Jet has gone off again in turn 5.
So obviously, as I said at the start of Q1, this is going to be a corner to watch out for in the race, because you may see a lot of incidents there and maybe a few safe cars because of it.
So right now, Retro, he's already has the fastest lap, and now he's on another outlap. He thinks he can butter his bread and make it go even faster out here. Fritz across the line again, but not able to improve. His best time is still 1:15. Cargo to the top, 1:15, 1:23.
Wow.
But Retro and Oddly are still there, still willing to make something happen.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx them, but I did this, I think it was a couple of hours before this race. I was in a Russia race. It's nothing to do with this really, but I was in a Russia race. I was in quali. I was P3 and Q3. I went out again, and I tried to improve it like Q1 because I was P1 because I was a little bit greedy and I binned it. So these drivers got to be careful.
Clutch Revenge around again in turn 5. I'm sorry to cut you off, but he's gone around. I think this is the 2nd or 3rd time the Williams have gone around there. So it seems like both of the Mercedes-powered engines, the Williams and the Racing Points, both seem to be having troubles in the turn 4 and 5 section.
Fritz has binned it. Fritz has binned it. Get a Clutch Revenge. Oh no. I'm sorry to cut you off there. I think I did cut you off there.
No, we saw it for a brief moment. It's fine. I kind of saw it and just kind of seized up because I was kind of shocked what happened as well. 2 incidents here in the last few minutes of qualifying 3. And this is really going to mess things up for Retro and Ottawa trying to improve on their times. Retro's coming around here through Sector 2, but what will be the last time today? Cargo's already been into the pits. He does not think there's any point in improving. Ottawa, he's still out there, but he's invalidated his time. He won't be able to improve. Hubert, same scenario. He was not going to be able to improve either. 7th is the best that he can do. Clutch Revenge is still out there. He's turned twice in the sector coming up to.
I'm sorry to pick you off there, but Retro Rixie is nearly 2 tenths up on his time. Could we see a 14 here today? Is Retro Rixie going to break the barrier? Is he going to get Paul coming through these last corner now? Onto the home straight, the US right open. Is he going to improve? Is he going to get Paul? Yes,
he does! 114.737! Absolutely impressive and maniacal! Carlos Jackson is still coming around, but he's 7 tenths down on the time. He is not going to be able to improve. There's also a question about Constant Jet, as he's going to be the last driver in a position to improve on his time. He's 10th on the time sheet. He needs to take off. No, it says that he's 2.3 seconds off. Constant Jet's not going to be able to improve. So the way it is right now, ladies and gentlemen, is the way that they're going to start the race in the top 10 positions. You picked up on it perfectly, though, Ozda. Retro pulling the big numbers out of the bag at the last possible minute. Not only is he going to take the pole, he's going to do it in commanding fashion. Almost 4 tenths faster than our second highest qualifying driver.
Yeah, that was an amazing lap. That was like pulling the rabbit out of the hat at a magic show. And he did it at the right point as well. So hats off to Retro Rixie there for snatching that pole, and yeah, hopefully you can convert it into a win today, but we'll have to see about that. and also about strategy as well. And we
Clutch
could
Revenge and
see,
Careless Jackson both have penalties
yeah,
for grid start for 5 each, so that's going to significantly hurt Clutch Revenge and Careless Jackson. I think Jackson's going to hurt even more because I don't know for sure, but I think Careless Jackson went on sauce and got
yeah,
into
he did.
Q2, got into Q3 on the sauce, so now he's going to be on a tire strategy that's not going to favor him starting in the back of the field, and he can't opt out of it. It's really going to be difficult for him to make anything happen. McLaren team looking for a very, 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 very toaster, very, 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 very rough start here today at Hungary.
Yeah, but also we could see a few other faces come into the top 10. Well, two other faces come into the top 10 here today. And now I believe it is a 5-minute break.
One thing I'll say a lot that I do appreciate significantly is that because of the way this game is set up and the way these qualifying rules are set up, we can get through qualifying in a little bit less than an hour, and that actually puts us in a really, really good position when we get into the race itself. We're able to keep these broadcasts really nice, short, and concise. At first, I was not a fan of the series getting rid of the qualifying laps, but now looking back, I'm actually more of a fan of it now because it gives us a little bit, both the drivers and those of us in the commentary box, a little bit more time to focus on the race if something was to happen, the race had to end up going long. Earlier in this year when we went to the Netherlands, we had a very, very chaotic race slowed by multiple yellow flags, and just being able to get through qualifying really fast, taking out the pace lap has really, really helped with keeping our broadcast a little bit more concise, but still action-packed. So here we are. It's a little bit later on, but I actually will have to say to the people who run the Extreme Racing League, I do appreciate the removal of the qualifying lap and the fact that our qualifying sessions, not qualifying lap, removal of the pace lap, and that our qualifying sessions are a lot quicker now than they had been in many, many years past in the history of F1. But I do have to ask, though, in general, I don't know if you're still here or not, Ozda.
Yeah, I'm
Okay, so I'm just curious, throughout, and this is not related to this race or F1 in general, I'm just curious in general, when it comes to qualifying, what do you think is the optimum way to set a field in qualifying? I'm of like a classic NASCAR slash IndyCar slash Formula One idea where I think it should be best lap. You get out there and you have like a handful of laps to put your best single lap possible, and that's it. You don't get another chance. But I'm curious as to what your thoughts would be as somebody from the other end of the pond, a little bit younger than me, someone who has a little bit longer history with Formula One also. How do you think is the best way to set a field for a race, regardless of track, regardless of cars, regardless of circumstances?
I think fastest lap is the best way, just because of the fact that it's not like it shows the best of the best. It shows um, who's going to be dominant in the race. But it also that is also not the case. Well, especially with me and some other drivers as well. I am very, very quick on lap pace, but in like a 50 lap race, I'm not as quick. You got that consistency, that consistency, and time management and strategy, stuff like that. So I do think the slap is the best way to set a grid. But ultimately there is a downside of that, of people who are very good at consistency and management, time management and strategy and stuff. It gives them a bit of time management and stuff, but they're really bad at one lap pace. That could be a very bad, very disadvantage. But I still do think the fastest lap is the best way to set a grid out.
I'll say this real quickly on topic of qualifying, whether it's single lap, whether it's a few laps. sessions divided into 3 sessions with eliminations like what we have in Formula One, or different groups like what kart used to do, or like Formula E does now, where they have different groups and the fastest speed from each group advance into a super group. There are so many different ways of doing it. I think personally, though, single lap pace is one of the best because there's always the chance and possibility of losing very, very small amounts of time that opens you up to other people who have a little bit better time. I think one of the best examples of that would be in 1997 at the European GP, where we had 3 different drivers all getting a tied time for the pole position, including the 2 championship contenders that year. So I personally have always been and will always be a fan of one single blistering lap or just a small handful of blistering laps. Try to put everything out there. You don't get to come in, you don't get to adjust or whatever. But I appreciate what we have here because these sessions are nice and long enough and you actually get to have a little bit of strategy and a little bit of gaming of the system. I appreciate that as well.
Yeah, I do like the way that Formula 1 is set up. And with 3 qualifying sessions, it's not just one long qualifying session. So it gives drivers a bit of a break, I guess you could say. Obviously in real life and obviously in the game as well. But yeah, also it lets you say maybe you had a really bad qualifying one, you still get to qualifying 2. It gives you a chance to change your mindset, get pumped up, get ready, maybe change your result of your qualifying.
It also significantly helps because as the sessions go on, typically you see them get faster because there are less cars on the track, less dirty air, a little bit easier to get out by yourself and actually put down the best lap possible.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I do really like the qualifying system, but I also like the race system as well. I know a few leagues that do 100% races, so like real life F1 races, like distance, and I think that could be too much for the drivers. So I appreciate that XRL does 50% or half distance of what the real life F1 guys do, because obviously the well-being of the drivers, but also us commentators as well.
I'll say this personally, this is just a me thing. I kind of wish there was an option in racing games where you could go 75%. A lot of the times I only see like 4 or 5 lap sprints, 10 lap sprints, then 5%, 10%, 25%, 50%, 100%. And more often than not, a 50% race in my experience is a little bit too short to really get a good flow and get in that mode of conserve and strategize. But it's too long to be pushed all the time. I always wanted to see an option where you could get something like a 75% length race in one of these. So you have the period of time where you're just trying to log the laps and position your car. You're not trying to break the bank every single time. But you don't have the full 95 minutes, 2 hours to spend on an event. But again, that's just me. And that's not a thing with just Formula One. Back when I played classic NASCAR games, way back in the days of the GameCube, like I had the same issue. It was like I don't want to run a full 400 lap race at Charlotte. I would be fine with something like 250 or 275, 300, something like that. That's just a personal thing. But yeah, I do have to agree with you. I do think in general, for XRL, it seems to be better to run these 50% races. It means that the broadcasts are relatively well split between qualifying and the race itself. There is a little bit of strategizing, but the strategy don't get so out of control and so out of hand that any little incident completely derails it. I think that puts the control of the race a little bit more in the hands of the driver's driving ability more than just strategizing your way into a higher position or getting screwed by a ruined strategy and put down to a lower position.
Yeah, it's like obviously in F1 we have 5 lappers, 25%, 100%. Obviously, as you said, 50% is a little too short, but obviously 25%. Obviously, I don't think any league runs that, but if a league would run that, like a tiny little incident will set you back way, like you'll be like way out the point positions when that first happens. Whereas a 50%, and it happens if you come out and punch your field back up. And yeah, so I think 50% is a good, but I'd also like to see that 75% that you were talking about before.
Yeah. But again, I will also say this: with the way these races are, if the drivers keep it clean in X3 and X1, then yeah, 75% is reasonable. But I must point back when we were at the Netherlands a little bit earlier in the year, where the races in both X1, X2, and X3 were all chaotic across the entire board. If those races all were 75% long races, I was sharing the broadcast with Kinsey for X2 that day. He did X1 first, and I did X3 because X1 runs at the same time as X3. And we both did X1, X3, and then immediately jumped into X2 afterwards. If those were 75% lap races, with 75% races, we might have been in a little bit of trouble. We would have been cutting it really, really close, just getting to the qualifying for the X2 race that we ended up sharing the broadcast for.
Yeah.
So there is always that risk if you wanted to go something a little bit longer.
Yeah, obviously. But obviously, if we did have 75%, the times would change. So obviously, some drivers could not make it, but some drivers could. So I think the way the system and the league is set up right now, I think it is optimal, and I think it is very well run.
No, I agree. I think this is what we have right now is probably the best scenario available considering the circumstances. Sorry about that. I had to kill a spider. So yeah. And right now we're just standing by as we're waiting for everyone to properly load onto the track. It's supposed to be a 5-minute break, but seems like we're having a little bit of trouble getting everyone properly sorted onto the circuit right now, folks. So we're just spending most of the time just kind of giving the series a little bit of a, I don't know, what would we call it? A rough one? We're not exactly mincing our words very kindly. We're being, at least I think we're kind of being brutally honest, but still the best. Whatever. Let's not get into it too far. We're just staying by here, waiting for the field to get underway. Also, it could change by the end of the race, but the official said look for a dry race. I'm looking at the sky right now. Sky says it's a dry race.
Yeah, but obviously it can be pretty unpredictable. Obviously especially the game as well. So we maybe could see some rain maybe at the closing laps of the race, but yeah. So hopefully we get underway pretty soon, and I just want to see these drivers battle it out.
So right now I'm looking at the lineup. I'm going to try and run through the lineup real quickly before we get underway. 20th position is Tino Farr in the Renault. She's going to be starting on hard tire compounds. XRL Stumpy in the McLaren will be starting on the mediums. XRL Turbo in the Ferrari will be starting on hards. Patriot in the Red Bull will be starting on mediums. And Herbie in the Renault will be starting on softs. He's the farthest back of all the drivers who are starting on the soft tire compounds. Bucks is starting on hard tire compounds in 15th position. Carlos Jackson starting on softs. It's going to be very difficult for him to make any progress there. Then Fratters in 13th in the AlphaTauri. He'll be starting on mediums, as will the 3 drivers ahead of him, smashing the Ferrari, Hubert in the Haas, and Whippy in the Red Bull. So Whippy ends up by not making any mistakes, he ends up starting 10th, so good job on him. Clutch Revenge in the Williams will be starting 9th. He's going to be starting on the softs, as well as 2 drivers ahead of him, Boothie in the Haas, and Constant Jet in the other Williams. Then you get to the top 6, and everyone in the top 6 will be starting on the medium tire compounds. Find Waldo in the Racing Point, XRL Snake in the Mercedes, Fritz in the AlphaTauri. Very good showing by that AlphaTauri driver right there. And then you have the 2 Alfa Romeos of Ottawa and Cargo. And then our pole sitter with a blistering lap time, Retro Rixie. That's what we're looking at for today's grid here at Hungary.
Yeah, I think maybe Retro will want to convert it into a podium position or at least a win. Yeah, so hopefully we can see that today, and hopefully we get underway pretty soon. If not, I think we may have to have a restart, as I think people are having issues getting back in after they've been kicked for connection issues.
Oh, good thing qualifying went by real quickly and we don't have to worry about a pace lap, because it also gives us a little bit more breathing time when something like this happens. Of note, I'm going to be also sharing the broadcast booth with Herbie later on today for the X2 race that'll be taking place on the other Extreme Racing League channel. This is basically their beta channel. This is where all the less important events go, I guess. Not really less important, but it's obvious this was set up later for the series that were developed a little bit later, like X3. So, and then later on, I will be on the other XRL channel covering X2 with Herbie after today's race is over. So.
Alright, let's see what's happening here. I think his internet's crashed, so I'm trying to. Oh wait, we're going. Sorry.
Oh, here we go.
My screen. Five lights, and
that was a mess. Well, that was an absolute
You've got
mess.
A drive-through. Yeah, but here we go. Here, wing flying everywhere. Oh,
there's one of the Ferraris. Turbo already knocked out of it.
Oh no! But they've got into turn one. But he has 5 seconds to finish penalty. Oh, chaos! What is going on here? People are just falling apart. I don't know.
Virtual safety car across the entire circuit, and no one in the back of the field seems to understand where the heck they are right now. Hubert has fallen all the way to 17th. Tino Farah is still in 19th position. There's debris littered all over track. Stumpy and Hubert make a little bit of contact now, and Hubert jumps all the way to the back. Smash is back there at 16th. Patriot is now falling off the pace. He's letting drivers by. I'm not sure what happened.
There's a restart. Yeah, there's a restart, I think, because Snake's left. So I'll check the squad now. But I think it's going to be a lobby restart here. Yeah, lobby restart. Well, that was unfortunate.
We'll get a second. We'll get a second attempt at the start. I don't know whether to commend or condemn Constant Jet from going from like 9th to 1st on that start. He seemed to be one of the only drivers who was awake in it. Now he's serving a drive-through penalty, obviously, but that was nuts.
Yeah, that was really, really bad. That was like nuts, like nuts inside nuts. I don't know. But yeah, that was really, really, really weird. I really don't know what happened. But I really don't know.
Careless Jackson has been knocked out of the race. Fritz has been knocked out of the race as well. I think at this point, a lot of the drivers are kind of like, don't care. They're just trying desperately to get. Patriot's been dropped out as well. A lot of the drivers are just trying to get everything set up so that way they can migrate to the new session. So when they do the new session, what are they going to do though when it comes to race strategy? What are the rules that XRL has regarding car setups, tire strategies, pit strategies, etc.? Does any of that get to change, or are you locked into what you were initially going to start with?
So the top 10 have to start on the tyres that they qualified on, but they will get fresh tyres. So that will be an advantage of the lobby restart here, and that, I guess that's the only advantage of a lobby restart, because you never really want to do a lobby restart because you got to do the whole grid again and stuff like that. So yeah, it's not very good to have a lobby restart, but it is what it is, and it has to be done.
Alright, here we are. Everyone's beginning to migrate on over into the new lobby, skipping qualifying, going right into the race. Got to set up the race in accordance with how the grid was ordered. Stand by for just a second. I'm going to take care of some brief technical issues. I will return momentarily. Hey, Azda. Barry.
Hello? Yeah.
Swap to
Oh,
spectate
oh,
mode.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that way they have an accurate idea of who has and hasn't shown back up. That's the only reason I'm saying that. Yeah, so for those of you who have missed qualifying, we're sorry for the delay. Technical issues led to a very, very chaotic start right out of the gate. They're resetting the entire lobby, trying to get everything going properly. This could get very, very interesting. Only one lobby restart allowed, so hopefully we don't end up with an even worse start for this one, because if we have an even worse start, too bad, we have to push on anyway.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have any other issues. Hopefully we can just go straight into the action here. We're missing 3 drivers, so hopefully they're getting pretty soon and we can get underway again.
Looks like we're missing a lot more than 3 drivers. It says that neither of our Haas drivers are here. We only have 1 Alpha, Williams, and Mercedes drivers.
Yeah, it was 70 drivers in the lobby, but 2 of them haven't picked cars yet.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's unfortunate that we have to have a restart, but, you know, it is what it is. No worries. Alright, those other people gonna join, or?
Yeah, I don't know. Snake and Ottawa still haven't chosen the cars they're supposed to be in. Ottawa, Mercedes correctly, is supposed to be in Alfa Romeo, and Snake's supposed to be in the Mercedes. For whatever reason, they have not selected yet, and we're still missing 3 drivers in this grid.
Yeah, obviously, in Snake, he's not really focused on F1 game, he's trying to sort everyone out, because everyone's just coming out and saying, oh, why do we restart? Yeah. So Clutch is back in now, we need 2 more drivers here, and then we should be getting underway here soon. Oh, also, announcement, boys, right? We have now a commentary championship. So after every race here, you guys in Extreme will vote for who you vote was, I want to say the best performed commentator. And yeah, so I think there'll be prizes for it if I can remember what the owner said. But yeah, so make sure you do vote, and yeah, hopefully we can see some like championship battles, comms, I don't know.
Not too personally, I'm not too terribly worried about that. I am just here because I absolutely enjoy bringing vertical racing to a audience. I really, really enjoy being in the broadcasting booth. I've done broadcasting for races in Forza Motorsport 7 for several years under the IESC banner when they were doing GT series. I don't do it for them now because their times don't line up with mine, but I used to do that for them. I do stuff for an X1CS now known as WSRL, and I will do those on Saturday nights in American time. For Brits, it's close to like midnight or early morning on Sunday. And then, obviously, I've been brought in for Extreme Racing League to cover these guys. So, yeah, I just, in general, really, really enjoy broadcasting races in general. Right now, we're waiting on one driver, and that seems to be WCD Hubert. He's the only one who has yet to show up, by the looks of it. Don't know where he is yet.
He may be gone to get a drink or maybe some food or something, but I think if he doesn't turn up pretty soon, we'll have to go without him. But I'm not too sure yet. We'll just wait and see if he joins. But yeah, as you said, I do obviously like a good competition, but I do love commentating. I do two commentating. I do obviously X3 review, and I also do a British touring car championship, that has got me a lot of praise from numerous of people. I think one of the streams got 100 views in less than 24 hours, which was absolutely amazing. And it's been viewed by a lot of good people. But I also love XRL as well. It's a different game to Forza Motorsport 7. So and I love doing it with you and saying you're a very good company and a very good commentator. So hats off to you there.
Now, I enjoy being here with you also. Everyone I've done broadcasting with, I enjoy for different reasons, but I think the two people I've really, really enjoyed doing a little bit of broadcasting with has been with you, and I've also really enjoyed being with Kinsey Retro. Retro has that very traditional British style to him. Very, not uptight, but very formalized, but can still show some excitement. I absolutely love that. And Ozda, you and I, we've known each other for a while. When I was hosting an IndyCar series back in Forza Motorsport 7, you were one of the consistent attendees throughout that. So we've known each other for a little bit there. We have a little bit more to kind of bounce off of and reflect back on. Also, got a little bit of word. Looking at the Discord right now, hopefully they're not going to shoot me for saying something about this, but for WCD Hubert, apparently he had a significant issue. Quote, this is right from his word, from the Discord. He said, this thing crashed. Now, I don't know if he was referring to the game. I don't know if he was referring to his Xbox or PC, if he might be on PC, but something has gone through a completely difficult crash for him. He is on the track now. He has yet to select his car. Once he does, and once Snake selects his car, we should be in a position to go underway. But definitely been a very, 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 very difficult start.
Sorry to cut you off there.
Yeah, he's in here now. He just needs to. We just need Snake now to set up
pick a car.
Yeah, but of note though, I believe Snake. Yeah, Snake is the guy who is hosting and setting up the lobby, so he needs to make extra sure that everything's in proper scenario at this point.
I think the weather shouldn't be on dynamic, it should be on clear because that was the race. So I think Snake needs to just sort that out, but apart from that I think we are good to go. So yeah. Okay, so yeah, the weather is dry, the damage is full. We have custom grids that's going to take a while to set out, and then I think Snake is going to pick his car, and we're going to go ready to racing once again, and hopefully we don't have any other connection issues or massive crashes before the first corner.
Why does it say that I'm muted? I mean, it doesn't matter because I'm in Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't really care because obviously I'm not talking to the people on the track. I'm talking to the people in the commentary box. It's just kind of a odd thing. Again, I don't race in this game. I don't get me wrong. I have tried, but for the life of me, I cannot figure this game out for anything. I've come from a background of the Forza Motorsport series, so the handling model in this game is so bizarro to me. I've had no luck understanding or figuring it out whatsoever. So it looks like drivers are beginning to ready up now. So everyone has selected their car. So we should see our race get underway here very shortly.
Alrighty, so yes, we are going now. The grid should be all done. We do go at 6:27 p.m. GMT. So yeah, so it gives Jarvis time to get a drink, get settles on, and yeah, I'm gonna go do that, and I'm gonna go get a drink. Sorry, I'm gonna go get a drink. So I'll be back in a few minutes.
All right, well, we're about to get underway here as we begin to load up the circuit at Hungary. Attempt number 2. This is our final attempt, so hopefully this start doesn't end up going any worse than the prior one. Also, we'll have to try real quickly and set up the proper broadcasting things before we get too far off the line. Also of note, they'll be starting on cold tires. They don't have the warm-up lap to get the tires nice and warm. So, yeah, that will be a difficulty. Well, there's the pit lane, and as they said earlier, it's supposed to be a dry race, dry, sunny. Doesn't mean that we can't have some potential sprinkles at the very end, but I do hope and believe that the information we got is correct, and we will have a dry race throughout the entire event. Not that I don't like rain, but I like even more whenever what the officials say ends up being what actually happens. Not to be a knock on the officials. This game is really weird in some areas, and some areas they like to make these little strange little adjustments. So, we are running really off schedule, and personally, I hope this race itself doesn't end up being too chaotic because, like I said earlier, I'm going to have to go right after this to go to the X2 race afterwards on the other channel with XRL Herbie. Herbie's one of the drivers running here today, so him and I are probably going to have to do a little bit of a rush to try and make sure that we're ready to go for the X2 race later. Real quickly, going to go ahead and show you the lineup for today's event. A little bit of tire strategy change in the back of the field. We now see 2 drivers running hards as Turbo and Tina Farah. We had 3 earlier, and Turbo's not one of them, but now that's changed. So, interesting of note. Also, for those of you who are watching in America, American drivers, XRL Patriot, and Books, starting 17th and 15th. They're the only U.S. drivers here. They're going to have to make their way up to the field. This could get very interesting here very quickly, folks. But anyways, in the top 10, same general setup as what it was earlier. So,
Already, I'm back.
yeah, we should be underway sooner rather than later here. So, it just says waiting for players. So,
Yeah, it's just yeah, we're going at 6:27 GMT. Oh yeah, as soon as I say that, people are readying up now, so should be going underway pretty soon here. Hopefully no one lap shenanigans here, and yeah, let's get underway here. Alrighty, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Alright. So, just waiting for Team Right. You ready?
Woo! Yep. And it's lights out, and away we go here at the Hungary. Already at the start, significantly clearer than what we saw earlier, that's for sure. But it's already Alfa Romeos with Audi trying to take the inside against Retro. Retro's going to have the run on the outside, but Camara's going to have to fall in line behind Cargo. Meanwhile, farther back in the field, Frater's falling all the way back. Tina Farah's trying to make something happen. A lot of chaos going on there in the very back of the field here.
Going to ride through this corner. Oh, I'm seeing Renault go around, and he nearly clipped I think that was Stumpy, and that is Herbie. He's gone around. I think he may make contact with someone there, but he narrowly misses Stumpy there. That was probably a poopy pants moment for Stumpy there.
Moderate damage to the front wing for XRL Herbie. Meanwhile, back at the front of the field, Cargo has opened up a 6-10 second gap on Retro, and if Cargo can the power down and get far enough, he might be able to get out of Retro's DRS zone and be able to cruise. This is a circuit that, because of the size of the cars and the narrowness of the track, and the fact that most of it is a very technical circuit, you almost need to be right on top of the other driver just to have a DRS on this.
Yeah, so on this, we could see a few lockups from these drivers, and I think that is Brothers. Is he lagging CPU, or is that my internet connection?
That might just be yours. It doesn't look like he's lagging on my screen.
Oh, it looks like it for a second there. Sorry about that. But yeah, we see two drivers going to the pits. XRL pitching, XRL Herbie here. Obviously had one lap incident, but now we're going to go to, there's a two-way battle here. It is Constant and Fritz. Constant just backs off there. Fritz still in fourth here. He has got a massive string behind him of like 3 or 4 drivers. Is it going to turn them off, or is it going to crumble and maybe lose a couple of positions? And Fritz Tatsu, he's already on the back of Atsui, and I need to get my lap data up and stuff. So, yeah.
Patriots swapped onto intermediate tire compounds apparently.
What the heck?
That's what it's saying. I'm going to take a real quick look at his car.
Yeah, he's on intermediates. What is he doing? I mean, he may have chose the wrong tire compound when going into the pits. So, he's going to have to be very careful going around. And Herbie's going to have to be very careful as well. As I will say. Oh, he goes around the outside. An amazing move there from Herbie. And Tina Farah has left once again. That connection issue that could cause massive interference with some of the drivers here today.
Oh, contact! Whippy made a dive bomb on Snake and ended up making contact with Hubert. He was able to get back underway, but he's dropped out of the top 10. He's now 11th and might end up even losing that to Carlos Jackson. Carlos Jackson's going to have the inside. Whippy's trying to make something happen on the outside.
He is 15 minutes.
Whippy keeps it.
Sorry, but these Williams are fighting him now. Look, Constant. They're both on the soft side compound. We're going to have to look at Williams are actually front in the points. That was kind of a joke there, but you know, move on.
Yeah, they've been in the points pretty consistently in this series. Now Patriot has gone ahead and jumped to the pits to get onto the proper tire compound for this race. Definitely a little bit too bright in intermediates. Oh, contact! He's trying to make the move coming out of the chicane. They're going to be nearly side by side.
He is. He's going to go too light. They're going to get him. But is Waldo going to go through as well? He is.
Yes, he's trying.
Here. They're going to go too wide into here. He's going to go out top. He made contact. Ooh, that was a bit of a side there for Constant Jet. But fine Waldo should get through into this place here. Constant Jet, he is a little bit identify how to rejoin. Constant Jet seems to be struggling a little bit here. Yeah, so we could see Constant maybe drop back to place this here.
But a little farther back, bound for a 9th and 10th Snake has just gotten by WCD Hubert, but Hubert is fighting back on the outside, going around turn number 2. He's got his nose ahead, and yes, he will. Hubert will slot in front of Snake, and that brings Snake right into the striking position of Whippy if we can stay right on them, going onto the back straightaway. Also of note, Tina Farah has jumped into the pits already, must have taken some sort of damage, so Renault, bad day, seems to be getting even worse for them.
Yeah, we also, can I just say, look at the gap between Fritz and Clutch now. These boys are all on soft, sorry, not soft, medium tyre compounds, and we have, that's Stumpy.
That's Stumpy!
He's gone around. That must have been maybe a little bit contact, and I think another person has gone around as well. No, it isn't. Right. I think it's, no, it's not. Oh no, it's Richard getting out of the way. He's been lapped already on lap 4. That is not very good for the Red Bull team, but hopefully we can pull it back for them as Patriot is right near Fritz. And I think Fritz may have been a bit mad there as he's lost a bit of time to Clutch. But as Antino, he's got a 3-second
There's
penalty.
a scramble going on between 8th and 11th right now. The Haas cars are trying to hold off Whippy and Snake right now. They're all over each other, and they're bringing Curtis Jackson up into the fight as well.
Yeah, this is a very good battle here. The two Haas going to be very aggressive in Snake. He goes for the move on the inside, and he makes it stick. Well done there from Snake into 9th place. Now, is Whippy going to try and make a move for Boovy as well? And Snake, actually, on my screen, is disconnected. No, it's just my lag. I'm sorry about that.
No, he's disconnected. He is disconnected, I think. That's the AI taking over.
His lag, he's lucky. We thought he resolved his issue, but he hasn't. So with that disconnect, he is gonna. And Richard Christie, he's gonna round as well. I'm sorry for shouting here, but this has just been an action-packed race, and it's Retro Richie. He's got a yellow fuel warning. He must have underfueled the car a little bit. He's going around and he's now in 6th from being 2nd, I think it was there.
Yeah, he started on pole, fell to 2nd on the initial start going into turn 1, and now all the way down to 6th. Retro's gonna have a lot of uphill battle to work with if he wants to get back into race-winning contention.
Alright, so now Boofy is on Snake's AI, and now Whippy is on the back of Boofy. Whippy, sorry, gonna make a move into the first corner. No, he's not. He's gonna play it safe. He's gonna conserve his tires because, as you know, Boofy, he is on the soft tire compound, so his tires gonna wear out more than Whippy's are.
Snake has really held up
Oh,
both
I mean,
hands and
another battle
enabled
here.
Hubert to get around a bit.
Sorry, I got cut off there. Insane, but there's a battle between Turbo, Fridays and Bucks here for not quite safe positions, but it's still a good battle, and it has actually kind of moved out now. But is Fridays going to get into Bucks? We don't. Wait, into Bucks? No, he's going to fight Bucks. We'll have to see. Snake is free journey. Oh, and Fridays, he's got around. He's on the curve on turn 5, and he's going to lose your place there. Turbo there.
The gap between Farrers and Karis Jackson is nearly 15 or more seconds, so he won't lose a position, but he's going to lose significant time, and time is something you cannot afford to lose at such a technical circuit. Hubert on the inside, a constant jet. He's going to make it stick going into the 3rd to last corner, so now move constant jet up into 7th.
I to fight back though, that's the question.
He might be close enough to get some DRS working here. He's going to have to take a perfect exit line coming out of the final corner. Nope, it looks like Hubert is gone. Those medium tire compounds are sure going to get very well.
He's back into his car, and now got Boozer out of Whippy. He's going to go into time. He last point position here on lap 7, on the medium, should I say. But is Boozy going to fight back? He is, but Whippy has that inside line and has ultimately the racing line here.
Whippy has DRS on Snake. He's going to close in on Snake. You're going to have to be very careful because of the issues we've seen with Snake here. Someone went off there.
Fritz, I think. Yeah,
Fritz has fallen to 4th and is now under. Yeah, the racing points are now fighting between themselves to try and get by Fritz. So Fritz needs to be very careful. Clutch Revenge, despite starting on the soft tire compounds, the race is falling gradually into his lap.
He's set to 2 and he makes it stick. Wow, so right goes into 4. And now Retribution is on Fritz as well. Fritz having a horrible race. He's got wing damage. No wonder why he's hit the wall. I'm sorry, insane, but this
absolutely, cut me off. If I'm missing something, please cut me off, because otherwise how am I going to know? But now Fritz is going to have to pit out of the top 10. Very, very difficult for him. Meanwhile, a little bit farther back in the field, Books and Turbo, the two drivers who started the race on hard tire compounds, they have found themselves in the 12th and 13th positions right now.
Okay, so Fritz has got a 5-second penalty for speeding in
Boothie is
the pit
pitting.
lane. And Boothie is
And
as
Fritz.
well.
So Fritz, the day's going from bad to worse. He's gonna end up down with Timo Farah and Herbie and just having a nightmarishly bad day by the looks of it. Boothie's going ahead and jumping into the pits. He wants to swap on
around. And it's Patriot. He's having an even more first race here today. He's lost a lot of wing. Wow. This Red Bull driver has gone instead from a bad day at office to being fired at the Red Bull.
Fastest lap, Smash, 1:19.275. He's on the sauce, so, but it's still kind of a situation where I don't really know where that came from.
So, here I've got Retro Rixie, Fine Motor and Clutch. They're still in close proximity of each other. Huber is really far behind, about 3 seconds here. Retro Rixie, he's going to want that position on the podium here. And Fine Motor is really near Clutch and Clutch runs to the pits. As we said before the race, the starts are going to fly off really quickly and it's moving here as Clutch pits.
Clutch is going to probably have to jump onto the hards and then one more time on the softs at the very end of the race. He's going to have to hope more than anything else that he gets out onto clean racetrack so that way he can run as long as he wants in clean air.
So, it's actually really interesting because we have two Alfa Romeos in first and second, and then we have 2 racing points in third and fourth.
Yeah, Waldo has made some significant gains. Retro started on the pole, but has actually slipped back. He's now behind his teammate. Of note, though, between Cargo and Ottawi, there's actually about a second and a half gap.
Could you third again? But yeah, he lost back in. He's got so much time now. Retro Rixie, I think these races does.
Yeah, Tino Farah. Tino Farah turned around coming out of the final corner, blocked the track briefly. Back underway, but really going very, very poorly for them.
Oh, and we also have Smash and Herbie. They're battling around too. And these boys are very close friends. It's like George Russell and Alexander Albon type thing. Herbie goes wide there, and Smith is going to take a little bit of advantage there. He's got purple sector 1. Is he going to try and get him into the hairpin? He's going to make a dive bomb. He's going to ride it out here.
He's got to make something happen sooner rather than later because those softs won't last forever.
Yeah, and obviously the dirtier will make him green even more. Smash is going to make... Smash is going to... Herbie, he goes on the gravel.
Herbie's in the wall! They made contact!
Very, very close there. That was like... I don't know what it was like. And Constant Jet, he's in the pits now for the medium tire compound, should I say, sorry. But the strategy for the medium runners has worked out very, very well here.
Smash has finally gotten by Herbie as Herbie went wide going into the second to last corner. Now coming out of the final corner though, Herbie will have DRS on Smash. Will he try and fight back to the inside? He's right under him. He's going to the inside.
Side by side, his first corner can come out on top. He's got a racing line. Very good perspective. But Herbie does lose a bit of traction there, doesn't get the power down that he needs to. Smash stays in 16th position. Oh, and we have a yellow flag.
Oh, no.
And that is Williams gone round. It is
Constant Jet has turned around all the way down to 15th position. A lot of chaos. A lot of drivers who started relatively well, and even those who didn't start very well have had absolutely horrific opening stints. We're 11 laps in. It feels like we've only gone through about 4 or 5 laps considering all the nutty stuff that has gone down today. Herbie has crashed out.
I'm sorry, I went really, really high there. And the safety car!
Herbie,
a safety car! This is not what Cargo needed.
But that's exactly what Waldo and Retro needed.
Yes.
This also is going to make things interesting for Clutch Revenge and Fritz because they just made stops to jump on the hard tire compounds right before this yellow flag came out. Same thing with Constant Jet back there in 15th. Although he turned it around on new tires, he has some of the freshest tires in the race, assuming they're not significantly damaged.
And it's also good for Page as well if he can unlap himself, if he can't then be stuck in the middle of the grid, which is very unfortunate as the game doesn't always let you unlap yourself. Excuse me. But that is really not what Cargo needed. I mean, Cargo doesn't really want it. Excuse me, I have got really bad hiccups. That is really not what Cargo wanted, and he's going in the pits. What is he going to choose? And they're going to
I think Patriot's going to get his lap back. Yeah, Patriot's going to get his lap back at least, so that'll make things a little bit better for him.
The Racing Point's pitting too. So 2 teams are going to do back here. Hubert goes in the pits as well. So who will get will it be Snake if he doesn't pit? Snake's pitting as well. It looks like the whole group might be
all just crap for Ottawa. Cargo got priority in the Racing Point pit. I think Waldo's gonna get priority. Yes, he will. Waldo gets priority. Retro has to just fall in line, so this is gonna really dampen the team. Hubert now is gonna end up in the 3rd position. Hubert doesn't have to worry about a teammate. He's able to jump in, jump out without issue. He might be able to leap ahead of some of the other drivers. Yes, he is. He's gonna be ahead of Retro by the looks of it.
And Books, he causes the first he pitted prior to the safety car, and he's already on
Books hasn't pitted yet. I don't think Books has pitted yet.
No, he has to pit it. Sorry, I'm sorry about that. Books has not pitted yet, but he is on the hard side compound. So, will he maybe ride it out and maybe make the strategy work? I'm not too sure. But Cargo, he's in first now, and he goes really, really deep. He's on the grass. What is he doing?
I'll say this much, the Alfa Romeos might not have been a very good stop, but they had so much time over the Racing Points that they were able to afford to double stack and not lose any time. Not the case for Retro. Retro's gone from 4th to 8th and Waldo from 3rd to 5th. Books and Clutch Revenge are now up there in 3rd and 4th position. Clutch Revenge has pitted relatively recently, so he's going to be in a decent position. Then Waldo and Hubert, they were able to jump in. Hubert was able to jump in pit and end up picking spots ahead of Retro. Turbo has yet to change his tires, and he's ahead of Retro also. And not to mention, we're still all over the track. I thought Patriot got his lap back. I saw him cross by the pace car at least, so I thought he got his lap back. He may not have overtaken the leader.
Yeah, he has to overtake the leader, and the game is really horrible with people like that, so I don't think he will physically be able to get his lap
Patriot
back.
nearly loses it right in front of Smash. He's pushing hard to try and catch up to the field and nearly turned himself around right in front of Smash. That had to be a little heart-stopper moment for that Ferrari driver there.
Yeah, I don't... Oh, and what? Whippy has with the yellow flag.
I have to doubt the validity of that penalty because it doesn't look like he's making any moves. He's just driving relatively straight. I'm
so confused.
I hope that will be looked at. Yeah, I hope that will be looked at later on. And I mean, if something's wrong, obviously the penalty should stick. But I think that may have been a flaw on the game's part.
Yeah, I think so too. But
it's kind of hard to ignore yellow flags when you're already in the middle of a pack where everyone's going the same speed.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, as I was saying before, this safety car is going to be really juicy for us commentators, as it is going to bring more racing, and I can kind of feel my voice going already because I've been shouting so much. But you know, it's the whole point of commentating, really.
The big question is going to be, will Tino Farah be able to catch up to the back of the field before this lap is over or not? Stumpy is almost to the back of the field, and Patriot and Smash are both already caught up. Here's Stumpy. Stumpy is just about to catch up now, and if Tino Farah doesn't make any significant mistakes, I think I might have called Tino Farah she earlier, so I'm very sorry about that. Tino Farah, he will more than likely be able to catch by the end of the lap.
He will. Definitely.
Hopefully they'll bring the pace car in sooner rather than later.
But the one thing that is going to really annoy Stumpy is he has got Patriot in his way. So as
safety car in this lap.
Going into the pits and we get green again, he's going to have to have a evasive action to get into Patriot, or Patriot's going to have to move out the way, and that's going to ruin his rhythm. As we see Cargo, is he backing up the field?
Yeah, he is. Cargo's backing up the field, and Ottawi's doing even more. Cargo's backing up Ottawi, and Ottawi's backing up everyone behind them as well. So this is going to get very interesting.
Are we going? He's going.
Clutch is already side by side.
He's gone.
Clutch is already side by side with Books there. That might not be the most legal scenario there for the third position, but Clutch is trying to make something happen already on Books. He's looking to the inside of that Mercedes. He's there. Will he be able to make something stick and happen? Yes, he is. So move Clutch up into third.
Still side by side going into turn two now, I think. Oh!
Contact twice. They're still side by side.
Ooh, that was
They're still side by
That was a
side.
bit of a poo pants moment for Buckside. He did get a little bit squiggly, but he doesn't lose it. And he stays, well, he moves down the best wheels to 4th. Now, Huber, he's going to be looking at Bucks, but as we've seen in qualifying and the race, Huber has been struggling with this track a lot. And we have a...
Constant Jet's gotten into someone.
Boothie's gone around.
Boothie has gone around.
Yeah, that's Boothie gone around. He's touched a white curb of death at turn 5, and it's sent him around completely.
Constant Jet also has damage to his front wing. I think he got into the likes of Patriot and Smash. Boothie has gone around again. That's twice he's gone around in a very short period of time.
Yeah, top tires. Anyway, coming back to the action now. Boothie is all booked.
Hubert up to 4th.
A bit wide. No, Bucks can't take advantage of that just yet. And obviously, we haven't got J right yet, as it's still spin after the safety car restart. Going to turn 1 now. Is Bucks going to try and break later? He is, but he doesn't get that position as Hubert did have the racing line covered there at turn 1.
Also of note, the two racing points have found each other again by virtue of Fine Waldo losing spots on the restart. So the racing points back reign, nose to tail, Waldo ahead of Retro for the 6th and 7th positions.
Yeah, we also see 2 other Red Bull teams, AlphaTauri and Red Bull, they're finding throughout Fritz seems to be gaining on the battle right now is Retro and Fine Waldo, the 2 racing points.
I don't think so. I think Fritz and Whippy might be one of the closest battles, or at least it looked like it for a second, because Fritz was right on top of Whippy. It looks like he's backed out now.
Yeah, it's 5 tenths, no 2 tenths. Oh no, it's Waldo and Bucks now. That's the closest battle, sorry. And Waldo is going to win that position. And he blocked up a bit there on the left tyre. I mean, not right, the front left tyre, should I say. But that won't affect him too much. Going into the penultimate corner now. Hogwarts and Bastos 187. That is the mid lap and hard tyre there. And Waldo is going to he's got to overtake DRS on, but he's not going to make the move to turn 1 on Bucks right now.
A little bit farther back, Fritz, Whippy, and Turbo all on top of each other for the last points main positions, 8th, 9th, and 10th. And Careless Jackson has actually caught Fritz behind them. So Jackson wants to get into the points paying position. The 3 drivers ahead of them trying to figure out who's going to earn how many points. And now Snake has caught up into this. Snake is now going to go against Careless Jackson. Of note, that was aggressive. That was an aggressive defense by Jackson.
Yeah, I don't know if it's my internet or he is lagging slightly, Snake. It might be just me, my camera as well. But Snake is really on the second. He's basically nudging him, saying, come on, get out of my way, move, hurry up, you know? So this could be a very interesting battle. Whippy, he's on the back of Turbo, he's going a bit deep into the corner, so that's a, slow down a bit more, and Fritz is going to take a little bit of advantage of that with the slipstream as well. And Fritz is now on the back of Whippy, and Turbo's kind of dropped behind Turbo. But Turbo is taking after his old teammate Cookie, and I don't think Insane you were here when Cookie was called the Cookie Train, because he literally used to be like a freight train, and he used to
the good old Truly Train effect. I know what you're
Whippy,
talking about.
there's a dive bomb. Wow, he's going to make it question. The side right line, wheel to wheel, coming down the corner now.
He's got it! He got it!
It's going to come back though. He doesn't have the space. So Whippy is now in 8th, and Fritz, he's going to be looking at Turbo 2 saying, give me that Ferrari gearbox.
And that's going to be very bad news, not only for Turbo, but also for Books, because Books and Turbo are the only 2 drivers who are still on the hard tire compound that they started the race on, and now that Turbo is losing positions to Whippy, that means that the time is going to be up very shortly for Books regarding his positions over Waldo and Retro.
Okay, now we've got a fight really far. The grid here, Smash, Stumpy, and Boozy here. Let's see what can happen here. Obviously, Stumpy, he is on the hard side compound, and Smash is on the fresh, nice, soft mediums. Or softer mediums. And Smash!
Boozy ahead of Smash!
God, dang it, a bit too much there. TFR has left again. He's got sort of that internet out, but I can't really explain much. I was lagging ferociously yesterday, but it's obviously, I think I've sorted itself out. Anyway,
here comes Find Waldo. Find Waldo is making the move to the inside of Books. This is what I was talking about. Those worn tires, 17 laps on the hards, no good for Books. He has now lost fifth, can't even make the defense, and that means more than likely the very next lap will go to Retro to try and overtake Books. A little bit farther back. Careless Jackson has gotten involved in an incident. I think he has front wing damage. I think Fritz does also. No, Fritz does not. But Fritz lost position. Careless Jackson has dropped back to 13th. He has front wing damage.
Yeah, he's lost an end, but he's also had a minor damage with someone or the wall. So we could see if it's not too bad for him on his setup here. But we see Retro Rixie is trying to reel in Bucks. Obviously, Buck he is struggling with these 17 lap all hard. You know, the medium should be about 23 laps you can do on there. But obviously, with different setups, there's different tyre wear. Yeah, so we could see Retro Rixie reeling Bucks in a lap or two. But, you know, Cargo, he is just flown away from R12 here. And Tina Farrow's turned again. So hopefully he can jump back in his car and he'll be the way. But we see this like 4-car battle, Turbo, Friday, Snake. Fritz is on the back of his teammate here. No, Snake, he's on the back of Fritz. So is Snake gonna go and dive bomb into turn 1? He doesn't have to take on. Is he gonna be one of the late breakers, Danny Ricciardo style? He isn't just yet.
Oh, but Fritz had trouble putting the power down. Fritz is 10-lap-old hards. They're not nearly as bad as they are on Books and Turbo, but he's still struggling putting the power down when he's offline, and that's keeping Snake right on him.
I don't know whether it's me or is Snake lagging again.
I've not seen him lagging on my end. That's not saying he isn't.
He's jerking back and forth, but he might lag. It probably is my internet because he doesn't have like a red bar on his name, so it could be just me, my internet. But anyway, we have a good battle here at the back of the grid for 16th with Constant Jet Booth and Careless Jackson. But they're not very close right now, but Stumpy and Smash are. And Stumpy goes around a bit there, and BGV has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. You know, I'm gonna let him attempt to speak and say
No, it's fine. I honestly did not think this would be a very intense race. I won't lie. I thought it was going to be a very, very dull race where everything was going to get decided really, really early. We're seeing madness all over the track. Here we are, Fratters and Turbo in their little battle. Fratters has finally gotten by Turbo. Turbo and Books both have gone 19 laps on their hard. And I'm going to give them credit where credit's due. Books and Turbo have really minimized the damage that those old worn tires are causing them. They're losing time, but they're not losing position. And Fritz gets around. Fritz goes around after making contact. The front wing is damaged on his car. He made a move to the inside of Turbo. He saw it, he lunged for it, and he paid the price for it, was not able to make it work. It doesn't look like there's too much damage on the front of that car. Yeah. He won't be able to continue, but that's really going to hurt him. And the driver who's really going to benefit from all that is Whippy. Whippy was able to open up a significant gap over Fratters, Turbo, Fritz, and all by virtue of getting by Turbo relatively early, and although Fratters is faster than Whippy has basically gained a significant amount of extra time in regards to the other people who is racing.
I think Snake is lagging because I just saw him go in Turbo, and so I don't know if that is my connection or it is Snake really lagging. I'm not too sure though, so I will keep an eye on him just to see if he is lagging. But Whippy, he is in 8th.
Retro making the dive bomb. Retro's making the dive bomb here on Books,
Turbo.
but he not able to make it work.
Turbo,
sorry.
He's gonna no. I'm sorry. I cut you off. Turbo, he's gone in the pits. He's obviously had enough of those 20-lap old tires, and he's gonna pit for some maybe mediums. Yeah, so some mediums here today. I think that's what Bucks is gonna do as well, as Retro Rix is right on the diffuser of Bucks, but doesn't really make it sick, as that would be a really, really dumb move through that corner of turn 4. Now, is Retro Rix going to maybe make a move on the little straight at the end of sector 2, start of sector 3, or is he going to wait for that massive, good aero of DRS and make it easy? I'm not too sure right now.
I'll be curious to see if Books is going to come in and pit this lap, honestly. Retro's right there. He's almost right under that rear diffuser. Books is really making use of those hards. He's honestly not falling too far off the lead. He's only about 8 seconds off of the leader right now. That's not terrible considering all things considered. He's staying out another lap, and not just that, he's gained a very good exit out of the final corner and is keeping Retro behind him. But Retro, here he is. Retro's making the dive bomb. Will he be able to make it sick this time? Yes, he does.
It also
Took him a long time, though.
Yeah, it also seems to be like Cargo. He seems to be falling back a bit. He seems to be struggling with those hard tires, and actually is taking a lot of advantage of that, and it's eating away his time. So we could see a battle for the lead here, for the two alphas here, in a little while. But coming down now, Bucks and Retro Richie, they're pretty close together, but I think Bucks is fading away. He's on 20 lap up hards. They're probably going to be starting to hurt a little bit right now, don't you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think having 21 lap hards here, I think it's very obvious what he's doing. He's trying to push them as far as he can so he can get on mediums and run full hardcore on the mediums to the very end of the race. I believe Turbo was on a similar strategy, but Turbo pitted a lot earlier, so he's going to be in a similar position at the very end of the race where the tires are trying to skid away from him.
Yeah, I think maybe probably could see him watching the fire and Fritz. We could see them pit pretty soon. Maybe the soft tires and get the fastest lap outside the top 10. Yeah, I think Cargo is kind of struggling now, and I think Atsui is showing his utter pace now to maybe steal that first place from Cargo here in the next few laps. Yeah, so I'll let you speak for a bit if you want.
We don't have to organize it like this. I don't think it's too bad of an issue if we're cutting each other off, as long as we're being somewhat respectful with it. I will make this note, though. The pace that the Racing Point has is really significant. Fine Waldo has run down Clutch all on his own and is now trying to set himself up to overtake him. Yellow flag in second 3, but I don't see
it was a picture moving out the way for lap cars.
Ah, okay.
So, Patriot has been lapped by everybody now in the field. It's not been a very good race for him today, but maybe he can pull it back in Belgium next week.
I'm going to really enjoy next week. This week I'm doing 2 broadcasts. Next week I wouldn't mind doing 2 broadcasts also, because I really do love Spa. I do think it's probably one of the top 10 best circuits in the entire world. And possibly top 15 best ever made.
DRS wide open. Whoa!
He's on the outside. Will he be able to make it 6? It's a little bit harder to put the power down out on the outside. They make contact. They touch.
That was a Roman Grosjean at Source in real life. That was very, very dangerous from Clutch. He pulled out right when Fine Waldo was pulling out. So I'm going to personally have a look and see if that could have caused a collision, because that would have been very heartbreaking for the 2 Racing Points if that would have.
Hey, real quick question.
Sure.
How long can you run on softs?
I would say about 12 laps-ish.
I think Books is not going to go to mediums. Books is out there another lap. I think he's going to go hard soft.
Dude.
Perfect. That's a strategy I would run if I was in this. I think that might be a great strategy. It's not going to get him the win, obviously, but he's going to end up gaining a lot of time. I think a lot of the drivers at the front of the field, like Cargo and Ottawi, are going to have no choice. They're going to have to pit again. Well, that strategy might be going away for Books. He just looped it coming out of the second last corner.
No, it's not. It's Books.
No, that was Books. Yeah, it was Books.
He was just slowing down to go to the pits. I'm sorry about that.
Well, he spun it a bit coming out of the second to last corner and crushed the inside wall. Lost a lot of time, so I think it's time he has to jump on different tires. But yeah, he's on softs. So he's got 11 laps. He's We've got 11 laps to go on the softs. He's going to hopefully have relatively clean air around him. So this should go very well for him. He might be able to contend for not only the points paying positions, but also fast lap points as well.
You know what? I think we could see a battle here for first here pretty soon. Because actually is really getting on a Cargo here. Cargo seems to be really struggling with those hard tires. But he's just got to nip it through, take it to the end. If he doesn't, he could maybe get on the stops. But that would mean he would lose a lot of positions. But then he would have a very quick tyre.
So I will go ahead and say this. Everyone in the top 10 have anywhere between 12 and 16 laps on their hard tire compounds. They all could go ahead and pit and dump on the softs, and it wouldn't upset that order very much. At least not at the very front. Books would gain a lot of positions by virtue of that, because he shouldn't have to pit again. Here comes Audi.
For the race win, a race lead, and obviously actually doesn't. But he's got DRS again on the other DRS straight, and he doesn't. Cargo defends pretty well there. This is a juicy battle for first. I didn't think we would see it, but Cargo just seems to just lose his pace here, and this is going to reel in Huber as he could maybe feast off the scraps of this battle here.
A little bit farther back, Whippy and Fratters are in their own little battle. Fratters has had a little bit more outright pace than Whippy has. Snake is right there also. Snake wants to get by Whippy. Don't know how that's going to turn out, but because that Red Bull is still right there on the rear tail of the AlphaTauri for the moment. If he can stay there long enough, he might be able to use DRS and use that to defend against Snake for just a little bit of time. But he needs to stay right on the back of that AlphaTauri. Here comes Snake. And yeah, now it looks like on my end, Snake is lagging just a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's major, but it's just a little bit to put off. And Fratters, he's got a... What? Fratters just...
What?
What? I'm
what?
gonna record that just in case. Yeah, Snake
Fratters was ahead of Whippy and then suddenly vanished behind Whippy and Snake.
I'm
not sure Whippy... I'm not even sure Whippy is gonna like that, because now Whippy's not even gonna have DRS on the front stretch now to defend against Snake.
I'm so confused. Oh,
yeah, that was...
No, it's not. It's Stumpy. He is not been very good this season. Yeah, I think the McLaren's kind of falling off a bit there. But we have a massive battle between Whippy and Snake. We also have a battle between first and second. But Cargo just got to hold it out. He's got to defend his teammate.
We also have a battle between 4th, 5th, and 6th. Waldo, Retro, and Clutch are all on top of each other as well. There's battles all over this track. There's only like 3 real overtaking zones and only one that's really good. And it doesn't matter because we were seeing some mad fucking moves and charges and setups all day today. Fratters, 3-second time penalty for track violations.
Yeah, I think today's race will come down to penalties. As we see, I think that
Tino Farah has looked at R5. And she was I'm sorry, I'm very sorry. He was running in the 11th position. Please do not fire me. I'm not trying to misgender people. Please. I am really sorry. I'm not trying to do that. Oh, and around again. Oh, and that might total the car. No, it didn't total the car, but the hot tires are really paying bad dividends right now. Here comes Turbo. Turbo's gonna have to be really careful trying to overtake that Renault. Careful, Turbo.
Oh, no,
Tino's gonna run wide. Around again! That's 3 times in one sector.
See, that's what he's doing. He's putting full beans on the front and he's making the rears even more hotter. So, you know, you've got to be careful when you do that sort of stuff. But we do have a battle here, and Snake has got past Whippy here, as we were talking about Tino Farah going round, and there's still a really good battle here for 4th, 5th, and 6th here.
Books right now is in the 10th position, so points paying positions, and he's going to stay on the softs. The gap between himself and Fratters is about 4 seconds. Again, he's on softs. Everyone's ahead of him are on hards that are starting to fall off. Books could easily catch Fratters, Whippy, maybe even Snake, and get up to 7th position. And that's assuming that the guys 9th to 1st don't pit. If they do pit, Books is going to gain a lot of time. He's easily going to end up in 7th and might end up with Waldo and Retro at the end. again, we're only looking at about 6 laps to go here. So if the leaders don't pit in the next like 3 or 4 laps, then I won't even say that. I'll say the next 2 or 3 laps.
See,
I'll say next 2 laps.
leaving on the
Franners
straight.
is spun! Franners is spun on the hard tires, and he makes contact with Books! He came right across and hit Books! Books is not going to be happy with that. Franners gets merged right into the track, completely irregardless of what everything else happened, and that's going to ruin it for both of those drivers. Retro has gotten by Waldo now.
That is not good at whatsoever. So Franners, he hardly has any damage, but Books has massive wind damage. He's going to be very furious, because that strategy was going to work for him there.
Yeah, Books was easily going to pick up some points for sure. That's... you hate to see something like that.
Yeah, you sure do. But and it seems Cargo has picked up pace once again. I don't know what's going on here. He seems to lose pace, pick up pace, lose pace, pick up pace. Unless he was time managing, which that could be a factor. But Huber, he is reeling in it actually bit by bit. And we also still got the battle the 4th and 5th, and I think finally he may have had a little spin. No, he got him damage, so he has fallen behind a bit here. As we see him for a pit, or soft probably, maybe. Oh, and Clutch, he's gone off circuit. He's going to get past him, but they're going to go too wide. He's gonna dive on him.
And he made contact! He turns himself! He turns himself! Clutch revenge! He's gonna turn himself! And he's still on the track! Here comes the other one! And there it is! Waldo's gonna make contact! Waldo has front wing damage now, and he's got Clutch revenge is got damaged. Okay.
Fine, Waldo's got damage. Retro Rixie doesn't seem to have damage, he doesn't, but that was very, very, very reckless of Clutch Revenge there. And we see a Parker Watt, who is that? That is Waldo. That's really, really struggling with that damage, and that was very, very reckless from Clutch there. I'm really sorry.
No. Don't apologize. You were picking up on stuff way faster than me. So real quick question. How accurately does this game model barge floor damage? Because Retro took a shot on the left rear barge floor plating area right in front of that left rear tire. He took a shot there, and I'm curious to see if that might upset the downforce of the car, like what we saw happen with Charles Leclerc at Monaco in 2019. So is the shot that he's going to take really significantly going to impact that car?
No, it won't. Unfortunately, F1 isn't really that I can't say it. No, I'll get it out. Don't worry. No, I can't say it. No, I'll give up. It's not that good of a game. So yeah, that car will be disturbed. He was in a really good rhythm. He has got his head down, but that will be broken now. He will be really shaken up as we see Williams trying to get past, and that's he's trying to lap himself here. But I don't really see the point as he's gonna have to give that out that position as soon as he takes it. But yeah, Retro won't have any damage from that shunt. But yeah, that was very wrong from Clutch there.
Well, it's time, boys. Boys have at it for the
2 Alphas are fighting for the first place. Atsu gets past him, step aside, and that's an easy ulti for Atsu over the DRS.
Hubert is there also. Hubert is in a position to walk out of here with the podium, but I don't think he's going to be happy with just third. They're all close enough. He might be able to go for first or second.
Yeah, and he looks up there, but that doesn't really affect him. That actually makes him turn in more cargo to seem to be losing pace dramatically. I don't really know what's up with him. And he's going to go side by side, returning, and that's not going to go very well. And he does, and here we go from.
Right on the racing line still. Waldo barely avoids him. Hubert's still in the 4th position. There's a significant gap between himself and Waldo. He was there. He was alongside Cargo, but Cargo came, at least from my end, it looked like Cargo came down on Hubert and knocked him off the racing line, which turned that Haas machine around.
Yeah, I mean, that was... Excuse me. I've got... Right, so that was a really kind of stupid thing from Hubert. You don't go too wide into that corner. He knows that he knows that he shouldn't have really said it.
But to be fair, Cargo was way off pace exiting. Like, he didn't just make a line or dive bomb. He was alongside, dead even, almost that entire straightaway though. So I can't really fault Hubert, because even if he tried to pull out, if he pulled out at the last second.
Cargo. No, Cargo. He's on the racing line. But as you say,
if Hubert, even because Hubert was alongside Cargo for quite a ways down the straight, even if Hubert pulled out of it at the last second, he's got it. He's gonna get it. No, not yet. He hasn't. He needs to be careful but as I keep trying to say this, and Retro's trying to put on his own little show. Hubert was alongside Cargo for a significantly long period of time. If Cargo couldn't tell that Hubert was there and not give him at least some measurement of racing room, then there's gotta be a significant issue. Even if Hubert jumped on the brakes to try and not hit him, he would still run the risk of running straight off track and making contact. And Patriot has finally dropped out. It has finally happened, folks. Patriot's car, he has gone around coming out of turn number 5. Actually, kept it a little bit straight for a while.
The car's got the switch back, and he stays in second, but the 2 wide through the final corner. Who's going to come out on top? It's Retro Rick D with the racing line.
Cargo's tires have completely died off here. Ottawi really saved the best for last. He's going to win this race. Retro pole to second. Doesn't have the same reign as the pole to a win. Here we are, 2 laps to go, everybody. Also, another little, who's pitting? Is that Boothie? Yeah, Boothie is pitting. Apparently he has damage and he has to pit. Also of note, Stumpy has jumped on the soft tire compounds as he's trying to set down fastest lap time. Waldo loses a position to Snake now. The front wing damage on Waldo's car has really hurt him. He's now under threat from Whippy. Whippy may be in a position to earn some of the best points he's had all year long. He might be able to get to 6.
He's gonna get 6 though. Oh, the switch back, they didn't let me come down when Whippy stays ahead. But yeah, as
and they both have DRS. They both have DRS off of the Mercedes ahead. So yeah, that's gonna mean that Whippy is now in 6. So assuming Whippy doesn't have a whole lot of time penalties, he's gonna walk out of here 6. That would probably be more points today than he's had all season long in a single race. The season has started to go very good for Whippy here.
Yeah, but as you say with the Cargo situation, that turn only accommodates one full F1 car. So I don't want to debate it too much, but you know, we both have our opinions, and I don't really want to go over it.
Yeah, it's definitely a scenario where it's a good thing. We are not officials.
He's caught up, he's got DRS, he's going to make the move into turn 1. Is he going to snatch it from Cargo? He is! But Cargo hasn't got the power down enough.
This is the last lap.
Is he going to make the switch back?
One of the Williams are off in Sector 2. He's back underway.
No, it's
I don't know who it is. But yeah, it looks like Hubert is going to end up in the 3rd position now. But we don't know when it comes down to between Hubert and Cargo if penalties might end up being played out from that scenario. But yeah, like you were saying, we can't spend all day debating with this because partially we have a race to call, but also we only see one element of it. The officials hopefully will be able to see other elements, will be able to make a more solid judgment based off of what they can see. So, yeah. Meanwhile, back at the front, I want to give thumbs up to Ottawi. Ottawi didn't really contend for the pole. He was in the top 3, but he didn't outright go for the pole. He didn't really contend for the win either until the last 5 laps. Good tire management has let Ottawi take home another victory. Here comes Retro, a pole position, 2nd in fake race finishing. Not the greatest, but not the worst. Hubert comes down. He will take 3rd, so good job by Hubert. Actually, yeah, because Retro had time penalty, so Hubert is now up in 3rd. Cargo's still 4th. Here comes Snake. Snake is rounding around the last few corners right now, and he will round out the top 5, assuming that he doesn't have a lot of time penalties.
It's Tino Farah. I think he's gone off again. Yeah, he's spun again.
Here comes Whippy at the line. Whippy in 6th. Now Frater is coming out of the final corner. Fratters
Seventh.
takes 7th.
8th.
And Clutch Revenge
Ninth,
actually ends
10th.
up ahead.
Fratters
Oh,
in
Waldo.
10th.
Yo, God, really bad for Fratters. Fritz ends up in 9th. Waldo ends up in
Fratters
6th
11th.
somehow.
12th.
12th. Turbo is just barely coasting across the line. Neither of the Ferraris will earn points, but Fratters, what happened to him? They caused him so many.
Go and see Race Director, see how many penalty points he's got.
Yeah.
Fratters. Oh no, we'll see it. But that was Hungary.
That was a crazy race.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
And driver of the day, WCD Hubert. I have to agree with that, considering that Hubert started kind of in the top 10, fell back a little bit, but on pure pace alone, was able to work his way up into 3rd, ends up finishing 2nd when the time penalties are added afterwards. Now again, more penalties may end up coming post-race, but as it is right now though, an absolutely crazy event. Also for Retro, it's not a win, and I'm sure he's going to be really upset that he lost it early on and went off, fell back, but he was able to come back to 3rd. In the end, he can't be upset about that, and it's really going to help him when it comes to both Manufacturers Championship and Drivers Championship here in this series.
Yeah, that was a crazy race. Like, I thought, oh, everyone's going to be distant, it's going to be like Corona, you know, but that race was absolutely intense, jam-packed full for the full 35 laps, and I want to say how many. Fratters got 20 seconds of penalties.
Christ! Also, one of my friends who were watching said, "Nice job, commentators, giving the commentator curse to Books." So, do have to apologize for Books there, but yeah. Oh wow! Literally, I think only 2 drivers, and that's Waldo and Carlos Jackson, did not end up with penalties. Also, Carlos Jackson, I'm gonna also nominate Carlos Jackson for Game Driver of the Day. 8th. He didn't even make Q. He didn't even make it start. He didn't even get a start in the top 15. He made it into Q2, but he didn't even get a start in the top 15. 8th at the end of the day. I think that's absolutely impressive, irregardless of how you look at it.
Yeah, Killer Jackson did an amazing job.
So real quickly, let's try and talk to our race winner if we can get him in here. I really do want to hear what he has to say about a very, very calm, very, very methodical and smart race overall. Here is Ottawi. No, I don't want to mute player. I want to see his gamer card. I want to invite him in. That was crazy. I better get ready because in about like 35 minutes, they're all going to go up again in the X2 category.
Yeah, so I don't think we'll have time to do interviews.
Yeah, I'm gonna just try real quickly with Ottawi here, but I don't know if it's gonna happen. Oh, there we are. Ottawi, yeah. All right, Ottawi, congratulations on a win. Very, very smart, clever, and subtle win, but what do you have to say about that race?
Wait.
Oh, that's going to be very interesting. A little bit of Alfa Romeo strategy. So going forward, obviously, when it comes to the Manufacturers Championship, Alfa Romeo has become very, very strong recently. Do you think you'll be able to continue this team momentum going forward to the end of the year and wrap up Constructors Championship for the Alfa Romeo team? All right, well, you heard it here, folks, from our race winner, Ottawi. We want to congratulate you on a win. Very, very cleverly done. You didn't really fight for the pole, didn't fight for the win much until the very end, but when you fought, you nailed it. So absolutely congratulations on that. Well, that's going to start wrapping up our broadcast here for XRL X3. I really got to wrap this up really quickly here because, again, in about like 35 minutes, so you got to go into wait for X2, and I need to show up for that one as well. So, but once again, to everyone who stayed with us, through the race restart, through the delays, the yellow flags and all. Thank you very much. We're going to be underway sooner rather than later here. So for X2, but for those of us who stuck with us for X3, congratulations once again to our race winner, Anui. I've been SaneLeader13, and I've been joined by XRL in the broadcasting booth. We will see you in a week's time for X3 when they go to Spa-Francorchamps. Farewell, everyone.